All right. Welcome back, folks, to the FF Face Off. This is a fantasy football podcast getting you ready for Week 15 start sit questions. You've got questions. We've probably got answers. Feel free to also visit fffaceoff.com for all your fantasy football, NFL, sports betting needs. Follow the show on X at FF Faceoff. My name is Michael Hopp. You can follow me on X at the FF Realist. I'm joined by the ever wonderful, the Jaguar helmet having, even though he's not a Jaguars fan, Mr. Pete Nova, who can be followed at Supernova38. That's with 2 R's, of course. Pete, how's about you?
That is a signed Trevor Lawrence Jaguars helmet. So
Okay,
just
all right.
I also that's a I think that's an Ed McCaffrey signed mini helmet up there. My dad just gave it to me last time I was
Hell yeah.
last time I was down.
Good times.
Yeah, Ed McCaffrey.
Oh, all right. Love that.
Not bad. Not bad.
I bet I'll take that. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so we're going to answer your start sit questions. As always, these shows get a little stockpile of questions. So if you do send in a super chat, you do cut the line. Just a general FYI for you. So,
Yeah. Let's get into it. We do have already a couple questions loaded in. So yeah, let's just start hitting them. Jonathan Santiago said, "What's up? Start one: Ridley, Keenan Allen, McCormick, or McConkey if he plays PPR." I'm not McCormick. I do want to caution today. I don't know. I've liked McCormick, but Madison's been practicing this week, and I don't really love the matchup with the quarterback situation. So I think this one's easy for me, and it's McConkey.
Yeah, it's McConkey if he plays, and if for some reason if he does not play, then I think I would trickle back to Calvin Ridley. Me personally.
Yeah. Okay. And then Matt.
But yeah, I'm kind of on the same wavelength with you as far as McCormick.
Yeah, I like Ridley is high upside. Bengals.
Sure.
But I don't know. Is Will Levis playing? I thought maybe it might have been Mason Rudolph.
I'd have to double check. I think it is a Mason Rudolph game, but I'll double check that while you pull up another question.
Okay. Matt Tate said, with Crosby being out for the Raiders, would you start London over Lamb? I would not. Lamb, and these are two guys that have a really high target share, but Lamb against Carolina, I don't think there's going to be a ton of defense in that game. So yeah, it is a bummer Crosby's out for the year. But yeah, I wouldn't adjust. You?
But just going back to the whole, excuse me, going back to the Will Levis thing, he actually has no injury designation for today. So
okay.
He's good to go. So there you go. I mean, he does have a shoulder injury, but he's good to go. So, but yeah, no, I wouldn't be doing this either. Starting London over Lamb, I would not.
Yeah. No. Okay. Cool. All right, let's see what else we got. Matt Tate said starting Bucky this week is a luxury. Sitting Bucky this week. Yeah, I have to start him. I'm starting him over Jaleel McLaughlin, Trey Benson. Those are my options right now. I don't feel great about it. I think Jaleel actually could be a really sneaky play today. So the most time last week. I mean, the last game he played, he had the highest snap share he's had all year. But yeah, I mean, I wish I was in your position for sure.
Yep.
My ITL Michael sent in a $2 super, said pick 2 PPR: Keenan Allen, Waddle, Andrews, or Mooney. I'm all over Waddle this week.
Same.
Yeah, love Waddle. The rest of this question is not so easy. I worry about Andrews. I think he could have a nice game, but it's tough with the possible blowout potential. And the Ravens have shown that like if they don't need to use Andrews, they won't.
There's also, and I say it all the time whenever the Giants come up, but the Giants play, at least in terms of fantasy points allowed, they play pretty well. So that also kind of worries me. I would personally go Darnell Mooney. I would go Waddle and Mooney in this spot.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I can understand maybe going Keenan Allen.
Sure.
I think he's been getting some volume, but yeah, I think I roll with Mooney. All right, and Fredo with the $5 super. Always super generous, Fredo. Thank you so much, man. Said Evans, Sutton, or Lamb. Neighbors is my wide receiver 2 as of now. I wouldn't play Neighbors in this group of guys. I prefer all 3 over Neighbors. It's tough between these guys. I think Sutton has a good matchup against the Colts, and he's been on fire. Evans, we've talked about it, Mike, right? I mean, getting to that 1,000-yard mark is important. And Lamb has been a volume hog. I think I go Lamb and Evans here, but I could be swayed into sitting one for Sutton. But
I
I
I was gonna shock you a bit because I pick Evans every single time he comes up in a question, but I'm gonna go Lamb and Sutton.
okay,
But I mean, it's razor thin. But I agree with you. Neighbors shouldn't even be in this conversation.
yeah. You know, Evans also doesn't have the best matchup. I will say that.
Right.
So yeah, yeah. I
By the
can I
way,
could get down with that.
feel free to hit the like button while you're on here. That would always help.
Mm,
That's
yeah,
always nice.
yeah, for sure. Perfect. All right. Sorry, I'm answering people on Twitter as I am rolling through some of these. Connor Bateman said, "Morning, guys. Start DK or Marv. Also sit one between Cook, Tracy, and Dowdle. I'm good with Marv today. I'm
Same.
getting a vibe that he's going to have a good game against this secondary, and I would sit Tracy.
Yeah, I think this is a good spot for for Kyler Murray as well. He's actually I was looking at some DFS stuff today, and he's one of the most rostered quarterbacks this weekend. So people are also on the vibes of Kyler Murray having a good game. I think that bodes well for Marvin Harrison. And if you're sitting one between Cook, Tracy, Dowdle, I would sit Tracy if it were me. I like Dowdle today to have another solid performance.
Yeah. Question. Before we get to the next question, would you go
Sure.
Shakir or would you go Bucky Irving today?
Shakir.
That's what I thought too.
You should have known that was
Um,
going to be my answer. I'm
I,
scared of Bucky this week. I feel like he
yeah,
can go out and he can get you 18 points, or he can come out and give you like 5 if he's not feeling so hot. I'm worried about the injuries. And like you
yeah,
said before we went live, you mentioned the Buccaneers having a good backfield, like a good backfield behind him, that being in Rashad White. So
yeah,
if they need to go Rashad White, like it's not as much as like oh crap, like it's just all right. Let's get Rashad in there, like let's roll.
yeah.
That's what worries me.
I get that. I get
Mm.
that. Okay. And then let's see, what do we got next? Mobbin, what's up, man? Said
Yep.
Fryermuth or Otten, Shakir or DJ Moore.
Ooh.
I'm gonna roll with Fryermuth with Pickens out.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
the Shakir or DJ Moore question is really tricky. I think I roll Shakir just because DJ Moore is not catching deep balls. He's catching a lot of underneath, like short routes, short to intermediate, and that's what the Vikings get beat deep. They don't really get beat over the
True.
middle and in the flats. I like Shakir more than DJ Moore this week, I think.
See, I like DJ Moore slightly over Shakir.
Okay.
But good point. But again, I just look at what the Vikings have allowed and over the last 4 weeks, and I get you're saying a lot of it's deep balls and all that, but
Yeah.
yeah, I would still go DJ Moore here.
So last game DJ Moore played against Minnesota, he had he went up against Gilmore, 98% snap share, 26 fantasy points, 106 receiving yards, 7 receptions, 1 touchdown. He caught all 7 of his targets. He's also had 7, 7, 16, and 8. So yeah, I'll retract. I'll go with Shakir here. I mean, I'm sorry. I'll go with DJ Moore here, knowing that I feel like there is possible risk there, just because you
Sure.
never know what day him and Caleb are going to be synced or not. But I'm cool with that for sure. Matt Tate said, so my opponent picked up right. I picked up Bucker after. I had Bates during the whole transaction. Should I drop Bates or Bucker, or should I try to keep both? Off.
I had Bates during this whole transaction. Should I drop Bates or Butker? I mean, as long as you don't need something else somewhere for this weekend, you could hold both for now. I mean, you don't have to drop one just because you have 2 kickers and it sounds like it's sacrilegious. If you last minute encounter an injury with somebody that's in your starting lineup and you got to pick somebody up, obviously you drop a kicker, and I would probably drop Butker, I believe, out of those 2. But yeah, you can also hold on to both for now. There's no reason to drop one unless you have to.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, cool. He said also, which kicker should I start this week? Which has the better floor?
I mean, I had my top 12 kickers out there. It depends what you have available. Fairbairn, people would be surprised by this. He's available in certain leagues because the Texans were on bye last week,
Mm,
and he's my number one ranked kicker. I mean, I've got him. I got Cameron Dicker, Jason Sanders, Jake Bates, Will Lutz, Brandon Arbery. Those are all guys I really like this week. Back end would be Boswell, Butker, Koo, Reichert, who Reichert should probably be ahead of Koo, Bass, and then Nick Folk.
okay.
So those are the guys I like, but it depends what you have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are what I
Okay.
like.
And then did you tweak your kicker rankings at all?
Yes. I
Okay.
moved up Boswell a bit, which still doesn't make people happy because he's 7th. So they still think it's very disrespectful.
Right.
And I moved up I moved up Jason Sanders one spot ahead of Jake Bates.
Okay.
So
Okay, cool. And then Mobbin said he dropped Aubrey for Dicker. You cool with that?
yep, cool with that. Let's ride.
And would Def
Broncos
drop
country.
Bucker and start and start Bates, especially this week? He's responding to Matt.
Mm.
Trevor said, should I flex DK or Ray McLeod?
It's
Oh
crazy that we've
man.
gotten to this point with DK where we have to get that question and actually have to give it a serious answer.
I, look, I think you're going DK. I don't want to get too cute on this. I mean, we were contemplating. I mean, I'm sitting Drake London this week, possibly for Judy. So if I'm sitting Drake London, how can I
Should be starting
advocate
the other
to
guy.
start Ray Cloud over DK though? I
I
mean,
would
I'm
start
not in
DK.
love with
Just
DK, but yeah, I mean, you know what you're getting between the quarterback. We don't know what we're getting with Kirk Cousins right now. I mean,
right.
I think he's hurt. Honestly, I don't think he
Wouldn't
just
shock me.
fell off a cliff. Like, I mean, he had a good month before this last stretch of games. Like,
Yeah, these last 4 games have been miserable.
yeah, and he was on the injury report with a shoulder injury. Like, I think there's more there. Oh wow, we have some more super chats. So let me grab those. Sorry, guys.
God damn it, Pete.
BH1747 with a $2 super said Tracy, Devonta, Rashad White, or start two. What Marvel character is that? Is that the Green
That's
Lantern?
not Marvel. That is
Is
DC, and that's
DC
Green Arrow.
Green
And
Arrow?
then
I don't
also
know why I
Green
said Marvel.
Lantern's DC. Yeah, come on now.
I
Get
know
your shit
DC. I
together.
know it's fucking fuck off. Fuck
Come
off.
on.
All right, Tracy, Rashad. I'm starting Devonta and Rashad White here. Rashad White
Same.
has proven that he can be good with Bucky and vice versa. Tracy,
Yeah, same. And if you've heard me talk about in the last 10 minutes how scared I am of Bucky Irving, that's would only lead you to believe that I like Rashad White. So
yeah. Okay. Jared Fortin with the $2 super said comment in chat. All right, let me find Jared's comment. It's actually just about to get to you, Jared. I think you were next. And then we'll get to June. We'll pull your question after this next super chat after this. Jared said, hey guys, Mahomes in the rain versus the Browns, Russ versus the Eagles. So tough. Can make a choice. Tracy 10 targets last week or McCormick PPR. I am going to go Tracy. I know I'm not in love with Tracy, but I will go Tracy in this situation.
over McCormick, yeah.
Yeah, both shitty
Yep.
quarterback situations, but I mean, now Russ or Mahomes is tough.
It is because you don't.
I think I'm
the
still
problem
going
is
with Mahomes though.
I think I am too, and I think part of the issue is we saw what happened on Thursday Night Football where there was some rain, and all of a sudden all the skill positions did absolutely nothing, pretty much. And now we all think we need to panic about quarterbacks because it's going to be inclement weather. But I still think I go Mahomes here.
Okay, perfect.
If Russell Wilson had a better matchup than the Eagles, then maybe I'd sway somewhere else. But
yeah,
no.
Fredo said Charbonnet or Evans for flex. I'm starting Charbonnet. It's a good matchup for him.
Good matchup. Sounds like Walker's doubtful this week. That's on Sunday Night Football. So yeah, Charbonnet.
Yeah. By the way, I am going to share my link. I did drop my my adjusted defense rankings. I don't know if Hoff posted his, but I posted mine. So I just sent my link in the chat in case you want to take a look. Some moves. I moved Kansas City up to 2. I moved the Vikings back from 2 to 5. Denver stays at 3. And that was real. And Philadelphia moved up a little bit as well with the George Pickens news. So let me see.
I'll fire my kicker rankings in there too in case anybody gives a damn.
Okay.
That link is going in right now.
Perfect. June said PPR, Bucky or Ramondre. I'm gonna go with Ramondre, but
Yep.
yeah, yeah. I can understand the question though. I'm assuming you feel the
Hmm.
same.
Pete, are you shooting beer this morning? That's what TD said.
Shooting beer.
That's what he said.
No, no, no,
What do you
no,
mean?
no, no. I'm drinking coffee.
Well, you can always shoot one after that. It's okay.
I thought he was asking if I was like he thought he saw it, not suggesting. Maybe I will. Maybe at the end of the show.
Maybe
I
I'll
did
open
a
one,
decent
but
amount
I
of beer
won't
last
shotgun it. But yeah.
night. Broderick said start two, London, BTJ, Adams, Mike
Hmm.
Evans. Um, I like Adams, so I want to get him in my lineup. Adams has been really good. That relationship is starting to grow, and it's a good matchup. That connection looks like it's back to what it once was. Obviously, both guys are not the same players, but um, you know, looking at Adams over the last few weeks 25, 17, 13 fantasy points, 9 and 22. Targets 11, 13, 7, 12, 11. He's had a touchdown in back-to-back weeks. And he's had over 66 yards in 4 out of the last 5. So I got to get Adams in my lineup. I think I start Mike Evans as well over BTJ in London.
Yeah, I would go Adams and Evans as well, but it's very close between Evans and London for me.
Okay. Yeah.
Uncomfortably close because again, I love Evans.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. And then Matt Tate said, so not going to complain about Hunter winning the Heisman, but Genty should have got it. Yeah. I mean, I've come to the point where I've gone back and forth. I had money on Hunter on Genty, so I got him at like plus 2,500. Look, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but yeah, I mean, I think I can understand arguments for both sides. I think both guys are deserving. Whether one guy may be more deserving over the other, sure, but I do think it was close. I think Genty should have got it, but again, I'm open to hearing other people's sides, and I get the argument for Hunter as well. I don't know if you have an opinion on that, but
Part of it's pop. I mean, not to say Hunter isn't deserving of his accolades, but it is a bit of a popularity contest, and to
yeah.
me, it's just I don't know. I get the arguments, but I didn't really care when they announced it.
Oh, so you meant like it didn't you weren't upset either way.
Nah, I mean,
Yeah.
I get the arguments, but it's like whatever. It's a popularity thing, in my opinion. Just ride the Deion Sanders train, and whatever.
Yeah.
That's what it is,
Um, no, I get it. Fredo, we said Charbonnet on
Yeah,
this
we did.
one.
Yeah,
Alicia, thanks for joining. Sent in a super chat. Said
yeah,
Cup in the flex.
yeah.
Yeah.
No bueno.
Who could have predicted he'd have the worst game of his career? I'd have to check the numbers. I mean, at least over the last 3 to 4 years, it was like the worst game. He's never not had a catch in those
Right.
years. But anyway, roll with Mixon, Chase Brown, or Charbonnet too.
That is interesting.
Oh gosh. I'd probably
Mi
go with Mixon and Chase Brown just because we've seen him do it. I like Charbonnet a lot, but he did it once. Whereas Mixon and Chase Brown have been on fire for the majority of the season, so I feel like I have to go with them.
I would agree, but that's a nice problem to have, especially
Yeah.
considering Cup gave you what he gave you.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
damn. But it would be nice looking back now to have Cup on the bench, but that's just not how fantasy works.
nope.
James O'Shea, I think this might be a first time super. So thank you so
Hmm.
much for sending this one in. Please and thank you. Pick 2, half PPR. Downs, Dell, Reed, Devonta Smith. Jaden Reed and Dell and Downs. I mean, I got to go with Devonta Smith, who at least has been consistent. Downs
Yep,
has
that
been
was my first
consistent
one.
this year too, though. Riley Moss isn't playing, but he also doesn't play the slot. Jaquan McMillan does, so I'm not high
I
on Downs still, but
I would go Reed and Devonta Smith.
yeah, I wanted to say that too, but I don't want to burn anybody with Reed again.
Well,
But
listen, this is one thing, we're going to talk about at some point. We're going to podcast going into the offseason about things we need to learn, things we need to do moving forward. We need to learn that there is no true number one in Green Bay. And as
yeah,
long as LaFleur is there, that'll be the case. So just don't marry yourself to these guys and worry about the draft costs and everything else. But this week in particular, I would go Jaden Reed, and Devonta Smith. But I don't blame anybody for being gun shy.
Yeah. This one will probably make you pull your hair out too. In
Yeah,
Jigba or
good
Chase
times.
Brown. Yeah, I mean, at first glance, I'm gonna go with Chase Brown against the Titans. Their defense is pretty good. They are on the road. In Jigba, he gets the Packers. Packers defense is better now. No Jair Alexander, and that connection's been good. But Chase Brown, I mean, the volume has been just disgustingly good. I have to go with Chase Brown. I think here. I think
I
he's
would
safer and he provides similar, if not better, upside. I think that's the
same.
best way to put it.
Chase Brown would be my answer, but I do like both players today. But yeah, Chase Brown.
Yeah. I mean, Chase Brown right now, snap share 85%, 80, 82, 86, 80. Like, I mean, you're going to be hard pressed. That might be over that stretch, might be the most we've seen from a running back outside of Kyron Williams, in that stretch of games. And I mean, 8 targets last week. In the last 4 weeks, he's seen 8, 7, 11, and 3 targets. He's had over 100 yards in 4 out of the last 5. And the one that he didn't have 100 yards, he had 94. I mean, just an absolute sick workload for him. So I'm worried because I'm going up against him in 2 leagues. So yeah, I don't feel too good about that.
Good times.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Epic Fail said Kyler Murray or Justin Herbert, half PPR, Waddle or Tracy. The quarterback one is a little tough. We keep talking about, me and Hoff were saying that, this could be a big Kyler game. But Herbert gets the Bucks
He's got
and
the matchup.
the matchup is good. I'll let you
You know
take
what?
this one first.
I'm gonna go with my gut. I'm gonna go Kyler Murray. I've thought all week that Kyler was gonna have himself a good week here. It is in Arizona, so unlike other matchups, you're not worrying about the weather at all. I'm gonna go Kyler here to have a nice solid fantasy performance. Justin Herbert will have a good game, good matchup. Won't be surprised if they finish within a few points of each other, but no, give me Murray, and also to the back end, give me Jalen Waddle over Tracy.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, over the last 4 weeks, the Patriots give up the most points to quarterbacks in
Yeah,
fantasy,
they're
25 a
starting to break.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, 25 a game, and the Bucks have actually tightened up. 7th best at 15 points per game. Now, one of those games is also against Tommy DeVito and Drew Lock, but the numbers are the numbers. So
Broncos legend Drew Lock, right?
Broncos legend Drew Lock. Tyler Sperry said news on cancel scared Ritter with Myers versus Reed. I don't know. I don't get the question here.
Does he mean O'Connell? Because I think he asked about O'Connell earlier.
Yeah, that's probably what he meant. He said on cancel. He probably meant O'Connell. News on O'Connell scared Ritter with Myers versus Reed. Yeah, I'm not excited to start Jacoby Myers today. I've told a lot of people to sit him against the Falcons. I think I'd rather roll with Jaden Reed here, who probably provides more upside. I think both guys provide risk. So give me the guy that has the higher ceiling.
Yeah, I would go with Reed as well on this one. And there is no new news on O'Connell, just for what it's worth, just that he's questionable.
Yeah.
But they play on Monday. Yeah. So I wouldn't mess with that. I would go Jaden Reed.
Okay. And injury report comes out at what, 10:30?
Yeah, something like that ish.
Or it's 11. It might be 11:30 actually.
I thought, whatever. It's coming up.
Yeah.
Some stuff might trickle out soon. Who knows?
Yeah. Bryce said Breece Hall, Jonathan Taylor, Tracy, or Sincere McCormick start 2. I'm gonna go with Jonathan Taylor and Breece Hall.
Yep. I don't know why Breece is playing, to be honest with you. Sound like a situation where they should just sit him the rest of the year, but
Yeah.
he's out there, so I'll roll with him, especially considering those other options on the back end.
I agree. Sarah said half PPR, start Murray or Knicks. I need 2 wide receivers, Metcalf, Mooney, Downs, Marv, and Cooper. Yeah, this is tough. I think I roll with Murray here over Knicks. It's going to be really cold in Denver. I think Knicks can have a good game. It's a good matchup. The matchup is better, but I'm with Hoff where I just have a feeling this is a Kyler Murray game.
Yep.
after last week. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love Bo Nix. You know that, but no, I would go Kyler.
And then between the receivers, I am starting Marv.
Mm-hmm.
I, I
Might as well
think,
stack it up.
yeah, I think it's between Cooper and Metcalf for me. Cooper's been getting more involved. I think I go Metcalf if you need upside. If you want a safer play, I would go with Cooper. And then if you want somebody in the middle, I would go with Mooney.
I think I'd actually go Cooper here on this one, slightly over Metcalf. I mean,
Yeah.
but I get what you're saying, but I would go Marvin Harrison and Cooper if it were me.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, that's why I said Amari Cooper's been playing better. Looking at his stats really quick. 15 points last week, but then 4-7, 1.3, 16. He had 14 targets last week. Snap share is still only at 53%, which is a little worrisome. I'll go with DK, but I like Cooper, so I can understand it. But I'll roll with DK. But Cooper's in the matchup that probably is going to have a lot of points.
Right.
So. Brian LaFlash said, "What's up, fellas? Better defensive start, KC or Arizona Cardinals?" Yeah, I just put out my final rankings. I have Kansas City at 2 now, and I have the Arizona Cardinals at 6. I like both of these teams. I think Kansas City. I think Kansas City with Jameis and the amount of turnovers and all that, injuries with Tillman, possibly no Njoku, and not a great running game. I think I just they had to move up my board, so I like Kansas City.
And I will also say Pete did put out his week 16 DSTs
I did.
streamers in case you're interested in that sort of thing too. In case you're looking ahead and saying I'm gonna beat this guy in the first round. Screw this guy.
Yeah,
It's there.
yeah. I put it
People
out a
are
little bit
asking a
earlier.
lot about week 16 though, so I get why you put it out there.
Yeah, I figured I'd put it out a little bit earlier. Like you said, like more people are asking. I'll drop that into the chat. Hijak with a hijack, maybe. With a, I said Hijak. With a $2 super said Brees or Pacheco full PPR. In this situation, I would go with Pacheco.
Same.
But I think the upside is still stronger for Brees with that matchup.
Yeah, but I think this is it's gonna be bad weather. They're gonna want to run the ball, I think. So I think it's a good thing for Pacheco in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
I am also, just to jump in front of you, I am putting the link for DraftKings for our weekly DraftKings into the chat. So if you want to join us, $5 entry. There's 8 spots left. So there it is. Just put that in the chat. So feel free to join us. Pete, that
Okay.
means you too.
Yeah, I'll probably get in there. I lose every week, but
Attaboy. That's
Anthony said Warren or Vele PPR flex. I don't really love this either way. I would go with Vele just because it's a softer matchup. And I don't really Warren hasn't done much this year.
I
So
would
I'll
go
go with
Vele,
the
but
matchup.
I don't like this either. But I'd go Vele.
Yeah. We did get another super chat from Fredo. Who else? Said Redskins. Whoa.
Easy now.
Easy.
Gonna send
Redskins.
somebody in here.
Redskins or Chiefs DST. Yeah, I like the Chiefs. I think I would say that I think the Redskins Commanders are safer. Commanders are 4, Chiefs are 2. But I think the Chiefs are a good bet. I could see them putting up more points. We don't really. I'm going to continue with the Chiefs here. But I think both are good plays either way. So you're probably in a pretty good spot there. All right. Quayle. Quayle said Reed or Thielen, Ertz or Henry. Give me Adam Thielen. Love Adam Thielen today. And Ertz or Henry. Give me Henry. Against Arizona. I think they might be playing from behind, and Ertz might not have to be utilized too much this week. So
let me see this. Yeah, I could skate with that. Last 3 weeks, Cardinals have allowed at least 8 points in all 3 of their matchups, including 1 week in which they allowed 16 in week 13. Yeah, I would go the same. I'd go Thielen and I go Henry.
okay. Okay. And moving on to Mamati. What, guys? These are some fucking hard names here. You guys are fucking me up. Uh, should I trust Brees Hall today?
I don't
I,
know
I
why you try and read the tough ones. I just say this person asked. Like I
eh,
just,
try to throw him a bone.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, Brees Hall gets a really good matchup. He's playing. He practiced this week. Is it risky to start him? Absolutely. Totally can understand hesitancy. Tony Pollard just completely bent over this Jaguars defense last week. It's a really good matchup, and honestly, you have to have a really strong backup to like. If you're telling me Chuba Hubbard or Charbonnet, sure, I would start both of them. I'm okay with that, but yeah, I mean, I'm okay with Brees today.
Yeah, and I also think this is one of those things where we always say it all the time, but like, who else are you considering? Because that plays into the decision making as far as. But I mean, just on the surface, do I trust him? I mean, not with my life, but I trust him to put up something today. I'm still questioning why he's playing. That's really the thing. But to me, ultimately, it really depends on what you have.
Yeah, yeah. I just sent in the chat my video that I dropped for my DST streamers for next week. If you
Mm.
want to get ahead, maybe pick somebody up before games start. Get a stash in real quick. A lot of questions, so yeah, we're trying to get through these as quick as we can. I think we're going at a good pace here. Rome, the host, said start one running back, one wide receiver, one flex. Tracy McCormick, Thielen, Downs, McConkey.
Well,
Thielen
McConkey's
and McConkey.
yeah, that's right away. In terms
Yeah,
of running back, I go Tracy slightly over McCormick.
me too. Yeah,
Yeah,
me too.
but I mean McConkey, as long as he's playing, slam dunk, he's in.
Yeah. LA said Mahomes or Darnold. I'll let you take that one.
Sam Darnold. They're going up against who again? I forget. But I did
Bears.
when I was.
Bears.
Oh, the Bears. Yeah. No, yeah. Give me Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's on a roll. That game is in Minnesota. I'm more than positive, right? Or no? Fact check me on that one. Sorry, I'm not helping you right now.
You said did he play well against them
No,
last
no.
time?
I'm saying they're in. Are they in Minnesota?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and then you look at that. 3 out of the last 4 games for the Bears, they've allowed over 20 points to the quarterback position. I'm not sure if you were already looking that up, Pete. His last time against the Bears, I think it was a pretty good game, I believe. But
They went to
I would,
overtime. There was
I'd go Darnold.
points.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
go Darnold either way.
Yeah, they went to overtime. There was definitely points in that one. Yeah, I mean he had 21.
Yeah.
Darnold hasn't scored under 19 in the last 4 games. And since week 8, he's only scored under 18 points just one time. So he's giving you a really good floor and some good upside.
Jeez. I just put into the sorry, I just put onto Twitter the DFS link, and somebody responded and said, "I'm broke. My wife would kill me." Like, wow, it's $5. That sounds deep, man.
Well, maybe he's in too many fantasy leagues or her.
Apparently.
I mean, it could be a girl, I guess. So
Here we go. Just now.
I'm just
Just
saying.
read. Just read the next question. Well, yeah, stop thinking too hard about things.
Hector said, "Good morning. I have a tight end question. If Njoku is hurt, who should I pick up on the waiver wire? Kincaid, Johnson, Schultz, Pitts, Fant, or Fryermuth?" It's between Kincaid and Fryermuth for me.
Yes, same. I'd give an honorable mention to Dalton Schultz there, but no, Fryermuth would be the play for me.
Yeah,
Mike,
I mean,
why don't you just pull up the Week 15 schedule and stop asking Pete all the goddamn questions about who's doing what? Sorry, I'm
well, they're
talking to
playing at
myself.
Detroit, Kincaid, and you have the Eagles versus Pittsburgh.
I was more so checking because I was double checking when the Browns play because Njoku is supposed to test out that hamstring.
Yeah,
So we should know soon about that.
yeah, I don't. Hamstrings I don't want to mess with, especially for a guy that didn't even log a practice this week.
True.
To me, it sucks. I mean, Njoku has such a monster schedule.
Yep.
I would personally rather, if I have good options, I'd rather him just sit and get well for next week. But you run the risk. Maybe they shut him down after if he doesn't play this week. They're not playing for anything. So, but to Mike's point, yeah, I would roll with Fryermuth with no Pickens. Debbie said, "Happy Sunday. Good to see you. Well, Pete. Thanks, Debbie.
Debbie, I put that DFS link in there. You should join up.
Yeah, you can take our money again.
Yeah, go for it.
She said, need 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, AJ Brown, Higgins, Nico, Cooper, Mooney, Andrews, or Laporta. Pretty easy for me. I'm going to AJ and Nico here.
Yeah,
Um, and
and
then
I
I'm
would
going
go
Laporta.
Laporta on the back end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this. Great minds thinking alike yet again. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Murdoch said Flowers, Myers, Thielen, Garrett Wilson. Thielen and Wilson for me.
Yeah, I'm on the Jets train this week, which means I'm probably gonna get punted right in the chin. But yeah, no, I'm going Garrett Wilson, and I'm going Thielen, old man Thielen.
Okay.
Oh,
Eddie
Jesus.
H said Mahomes, bad weather, or AR5. I'm going to go with Mahomes.
I'm gonna go. I can't trust AR5. I just can't. I can't do it.
Yeah. Eddie H also
Broncos
said,
too. Yeah, not
yeah,
not 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 the best matchup in the world.
it's not the best matchup. I mean,
Oh wow,
sorry. Uh,
sounds like you need a shotgun a beer.
yeah. Coming off of a bye in probably the biggest game for both teams this season. I mean, winner probably has a very strong chance to get into the playoffs.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm still going Mahomes there against the Browns. He also said pick 2, full PPR, Evans, London, Thielen, or Downs. Give me Thielen and give me Evans here.
you're
I
going
like
Thielen
London.
over London.
I
Wait a minute,
like
you're
the
going Thielen
connection.
over London, and you were asking me your other question this morning.
I would go with Thielen over Judy and Shakir this week.
Shit. Okay.
I'm infatuated with Thielen right now. I mean, the connection with him and Bryce Young I mean, it
Oh, it's
looks
something.
very
I get it.
strong, you
And then
know.
when you attach PPR to it, I get it. I'm still gonna go Evans and London. I would say Thielen would be. He's close to London. I'm busting Pete's balls. He's close. But I would go Evans and London there. But I can't really. I'm
I
not
mean,
calling a pizza bet or anything on that one. I wonder what the over under is
I
on
mean,
Thielen catches today.
last 2 weeks he's had 10 and 11 points the last 2
Let's
weeks,
check it.
23 and 19. And right now, I trust that connection. I mean, but to be fair, London is the safer play. London's been getting peppered with targets as well. I like the matchup this week against Dallas. I believe Trayvon Diggs is ruled out, so they're hurting even more in the
Hmm.
secondary, and so that's a factor.
What do you think the over under is on Adam Thielen catches? We won't make this too long because we got questions, but
I would
just
say it's 5.5.
it's 4.5 right now on DraftKings, minus
I would
145.
I would say London's is probably higher than
Yeah, probably. I won't
London's
fact
is
check that. We can
probably
get on with
five and
more
a half.
questions, or I'll
Oh,
check it at some point while you pull up another question.
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, go for it.
Fredo again with the $10 super said, I know you guys answered this on Thursday, but I just want to see if you feel the same about Tua starting over Mahomes and Rodgers now. It's the big day. All right.
Hmm.
I like Rodgers today against the Jags. Tua, we talked about that. We like Tua's matchup. Mahomes, I think I'm still leaning Tua or Rodgers here over Mahomes. I think I probably am going with Tua over Rodgers here. What about you?
Yeah, I'm still going Tua. I get it. Rogers had a nice game. What worried me about that was, yeah, he had a ton of passing yards, but only one passing touchdown. I
Yeah.
think there's a potential for Tua to have a bigger, more complete day. So I would still go Tua here, but it is close. And the Drake London over
Yeah, I
under
mean
on catches
Rodgers
was five and a
16,
half.
15, 17. I
Hmm,
thought so.
hmm.
Yeah, Rodgers 15, 16, 17. I mean, he's had a nice floor. But Tua is 23, 28, 25, 23. And they're in a dome. And Mahomes is dealing with the weather. So yeah, I'm gonna ride with Tua there. Um, let's see. Seabass said, nice Nico auto start, right? Or am I overthinking him because kind of worried for the Dolphins defense? I have Thielen, Flowers, Myers. Yeah, no, don't
No,
overthink it.
you're fine. You're not overthinking. You're good.
No. 2021 Debo said, Bucky
Hmm.
Irving or Zay
Miss those
Flowers,
days.
full PPR. Um,
I'm pulling something up here. I'm leaning towards Flowers, but Let's just see.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Bucky here. There is risk, but I think Bucky has the higher ceiling. I am starting Flowers in one or two leagues, full disclosure. So I'm also starting Bucky in a few leagues, full disclosure. But I think I go Bucky for more upside. I just think that game's going to be more competitive, where Flowers plays against the Giants, and that game could go by quick. Yeah, I'm going Bucky.
I'm going Zay Flowers. I mean, people always say a game can go by quick or a team can get ahead quick, but I always say to that point, well, maybe Zay Flowers is a big part of that getting out of hand.
That's
There is that.
actually a good
So
point.
but I would personally go Zay Flowers. I've already mentioned about a quarter of a million times in the last 40 minutes that I'm a little worried about Bucky Irving. So Zay Flowers,
You idiot.
probably.
No, I was talking about myself. Let's see.
Probably. Yeah.
Michael Lopez said London or Adams, full PPR. I'm going with Adams.
So, oh my! Swear to God, if these Jets, man,
Uh,
I am gonna be not like it's Pete's fault, but I'm gonna be hammering the chat, telling Pete I did it, I trusted him, and they left me at the altar.
yeah, it's funny. We get so much spam on our YouTube videos. I just got a notification. Somebody commented on my video and said, "Hi, it's Cecilia. Nice to connect with you."
Very
I
nice.
also get people that ask me like for crypto shit in our.
Oh yeah, I
on
get
our
that
videos.
on the kicker videos. Hey, if I could ask you one question, and then it's something about crypto, like, oh,
Yeah, so I get the same thing. All right, moving on. Rams aholic said Cousins are young. Cook or Pacheco, Waddle or BTJ, full PPR 6-point passing. Give me Young. Give me Young
yeah,
against Dallas. Give me Young.
yeah. The rankings say otherwise in a lot of different areas you look, but yeah, give me Young as well.
Yeah.
I just got to fix
Now,
something quick. I'm gonna hang back for a second.
yeah. Now Cook or Pacheco. I think Cook has higher upside here over Pacheco, receiving and all that. And it's a higher total in this game. So I'm gonna go with Cook, but it is a harder defense to go up against. And then Waddle or BTJ. I'm going with Waddle. I expect a decent amount of points, and that's a good matchup for Waddle, who's been playing really well. Steven Stanton said, "Start Jake Ferguson or Hunter Henry this week." Yeah, I mean, I don't really love either. I want to check Jake Ferguson before I go ahead and just say Hunter Henry. Hoff, do you have a lean here?
I am leaning towards Hunter Henry, but yeah, I'm taking a look at some stuff as well. But I am also leaning Hunter Henry. Yeah, I'm looking at
Yeah,
it's close though. Let me see one other thing.
I'm gonna go with Hunter Henry. Yeah, I'm going Hunter. I'm going Hunter Henry.
Same here.
Seabass, Sanders over Koo, Riker,
Yes,
Bucker,
sir.
and Folk.
Sanders is my third ranked kicker on the week, so that's where I would be going there with a good amount of confidence. So yeah, and I would go with him over all of those other options that you mentioned, even though all of those kickers are in my top 12 this week.
Okay, perfect. Tyler Morse, all things considered, I think I might bench Brees Hall. James Cook, not a fan of the matchup. Dowdle or Thielen for flex. So is this in regard? Can we add Brees Hall to the conversation here? Is what I would be curious. I would still start James Cook here. Actually, man, Dowdle against Carolina though.
I like Dowdle today.
So do
I would
I.
go Dowdle and I would put Thielen in my flex.
Well,
If
I'm
it were
at, but
me.
can you only pick one?
Hmm.
Because he said James Cook might maybe he's benching Hall for James Cook because he put a period after and then said Dowdle Thielen for flex. So yeah, I would go with Dowdle over Thielen, and I would go with Dowdle probably over Brees Hall today. You feel the same there?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Clayton Smith breakdown KC DST versus Washington DST ceilings and floors. Yeah, I mean, so with the weather, and with Jameis Winston, they give up a lot of points. This Browns defense, this Browns offense to opposing defenses in fantasy. When you take a look at it, the Browns are giving up 10.8 fantasy points per game over the last 5 weeks. That is, I believe, second highest, only behind second or third highest behind the Giants and the Seattle Seahawks. The thing that worries me is Kansas City doesn't get a lot of sacks, but they're high in pressures. They're like in the highest part of the league. They're just not closing the gap. And they're getting 2.7 sacks per game over the last 2.1 sacks per game over the course of the season. And they play a Browns offense that's giving up 13 sacks over the last 4 weeks and has thrown 7 interceptions and 2 for touchdowns. So I think Kansas City is a good play. Obviously, they're going up against the better offense. Washington is not the better defense, but they get a matchup that I think is safer because the offense is not nearly as good in the Saints with Jake Haener and limited weapons.
My boy's wicked smart.
There you go. Matt Osorio said pick 2 wide receivers, Ridley, BTJ, Metcalf, or Neighbors. I would go with
Ridley is one of them.
Ridley. Yeah, I would go with Ridley, and then maybe it's between BTJ or Metcalf. We've gone back and forth with both of these guys. I'm gonna go with Metcalf over BTJ here.
Yeah, same deal here. I wish there. Well, could I get Neighbors in there over Metcalf? No, I can't do that, right?
No, I mean you could.
I'll do DK, but I would actually put Neighbors ahead of BTJ. So
Okay.
it would. So I'd go Ridley, and for me, it would be down to Metcalf and Neighbors, and I'll eke in Metcalf.
Yeah, I mean, crazy enough, like BTJ has also been really good, even with Mac Jones.
Yeah.
So the original D. Ernest Johnson fan. Interesting defense rankings. Vikings are very high though. PPR. Keenan, Thielen, Reed, or Waddle need one. Yeah, Vikings were 2. I bumped them down to 5. As for PPR here, Keenan, Thielen, Reed, or Waddle, I'm going with Waddle here.
Okay, I was gonna test your love of Adam
Thielen?
Thielen there, but yeah, I would go Waddle too.
Yeah.
That was gonna be a pizza bet if you had gone that way.
I'm sure. Steven Stanton said Denver DST or Philly DST. This one worries me a little bit. I know I'm obviously a Denver fan. Colts don't take a lot of sacks, but at the same time, they don't have a lot of yards, and Denver is number 1 in sacks in the NFL. Philly is ranked number 7. I would say Denver is more risky, but I think Denver has more upside. Philly goes up against an offense where they take a lot of sacks. Russell Wilson does take a lot of sacks, and they have no Pickens. So I think Philly is safer with solid upside. I think Denver is a little bit more risky with strong upside just because of the loss of Riley Moss. Yeah.
I would just mention also, I did put the DFS link in there again for today, and we have a good amount of people watching, but not as many likes. So feel free to smash that like button at some point.
Yeah, we're at 47 on YouTube right now.
Very, very easy for you guys to hit the like button and helps us out way more than the effort it takes you.
Yeah. And I would just say, I mean, we're hitting the 48 minute mark here. We'll probably go for another 15 minutes. I would suggest sending in a super chat. It helps us out, but at the same time too, we're not going to be able to get to everybody. We're going to try our best. But if I keep talking, we won't be able to get to as many questions. So I'll just start moving on. Jonathan Rick said Bo Nix or Kyler, have both Sutton and McBride. I would go Kyler.
I would go Kyler as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just we both love Kyle this week. So
yeah. Hector said pick 2 receivers: Devontae Adams, Wilson, Devonta Smith, Thielen, Jacoby Myers, or Keenan Allen. Man, between Devontae and Garrett, I'm saying between those two, it's really tough.
I would go Devontae only because, and you referenced this, you referenced it, the other day, you referenced it today. The connection seems to be getting back to the way things were between Adams and Rodgers. So that's why I would lean with Adams. And I would go Thielen there.
I would do the same. Yeah. Bengals said Metcalf or Shakir for the wide receiver spot, and Dowdle, Pollard, or other wide receiver for flex. Yeah, I'm going with Shakir and I'm going with Dowdle.
Yep, I'm a little hot and bothered about Shakir today. So
there you
let's do
go.
it.
Jedi Genetics, Adams, Hill, Jackson Smith, and Jig with a full PPR pick 2. I started Cup on Thursday night, so just an FYI, I'm behind the 8 ball.
Well, aren't we all? I would go Adams and I would go Hill.
Me too. Yeah, especially if you're behind the 8 ball and you're going for a bang. So,
yep.
To
the moon.
Murdoch said Charbs, Myers, or Bryce Young for the Superflex. Interesting. I think I would still go with Bryce Young.
Yeah, I'd go Bryce Young, but Charbonnet is kind of intriguing in that question. But yeah, I'd go Bryce Young.
I feel the same way. I just want to take a look really quick. We'll move on to the next question, and then I'll come back to it. Original Dearness fan said, I think Adams might see less snaps. They should start slowing him down. Maybe. I don't see that, though, because, I mean, they don't – like there's no chance that Adams will be with them next year. So they don't really need to save him. And I don't think he wants to be saved. I mean,
and
he's the alpha receiver.
It would be pretty illogical for them to, which then again, we are talking about the Jets, so I guess we have to throw that out the window, but it would be pretty illogical to be like, all right, well, let's play Breece Hall, who's going to be with us next year, even though his knee's jammed up, but let's kind of save Devontae Adams, even though he might not be with the team next year. Just doesn't really, So
yeah, that's fair.
Oh, Greg, hi.
Space Force today. If Buffalo is available on the wire right now, do you stash them over Indy or Green Bay? No. I like Indy and Green Bay. Indy gets the Giants in the last week of the season, and they also have a good matchup next.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
They have the Titans the week prior.
Yeah, and they also have Green Bay also has the Saints next week. So I actually prefer over the Colts right now. So yeah, I mean, I'd love to get Buffalo, but unless you could stash all three, I'm prioritizing Indy and Green Bay right now. Just win, baby. Keenan Allen, Cooper, Smith and Jigba, Devontae Adams, pick 3. I'm starting Adams, I'm starting Smith and Jigba, and then it's between Cooper and Keenan Allen.
Give me Cooper in this one.
I'm gonna go, I think, Allen here.
I don't hate it, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the volume has been there for Allen, 7, 10, 6, 8, 15, 8, 5 targets. So yeah, I just trust the volume there a little bit more. Firefighter said Breece Hall or Charbonnet PPR. I would go with Charbonnet.
Yep.
Hijack said Hall or Pacheco. Full PPR. Hall gets touches. Worried he'll get touches stolen. Yeah, I would go with Pacheco here. But the ceiling's higher.
Oh, he means Breece. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. Sorry. Pacheco.
Okay. No, you're good. Matt Osorio said pick 2 wide receivers: Ridley, BTJ, Metcalf, or Neighbors. I think we answered
we had this
already.
earlier. Yeah. We went Ridley and Metcalf, but Neighbors was closer for me. I believe BTJ was closer for you, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I had that correct.
Yeah. I think Ridley's risky, just like BTJ. I mean, it's not like they both have a good quarterback, and BTJ has been really good. So I can understand going BTJ over Ridley, but you just have to understand the risk.
Well, all 4 of these guys carry risk. You can make the case for all 4 of them.
That's fair as well, which I guess is why he's asking us. Mondo said pick 2: Shakir, Odunze, or Reed. Shakir and Reed.
Yeah.
I don't have enough trust to put Odunze at this stage in the year in my lineup over some guys.
Yeah, I know I said that the hell. I know I said that I like Bears wide receivers, but only so many of them are going to succeed, and I don't think we can expect the kind of week that Odunze had against the Niners that he can have that again. So, give me Shakir and give me Reed.
Yeah. Kendall Pickens, I think first time super chat. Thank you so much. Said full PPR, pick 2 flexes: Marv, Ridley, and Pollard. I'm going Marv and I'm going Pollard, I think, over Ridley.
I'm a little bit higher on Ridley this week than you. I'm going Marvin Harrison and I'm going Ridley.
I can understand that. I mean, Pollard's been banged up this week, and
I just think this is a good Cardinals Kyler and Marv, and
Yeah.
and maybe your boy Trey McBride, Pete.
I do love me some Trey McBride.
Yeah, you do almost too much.
TD, what's up, man? Said if McConkey plays fade Smart and flex McMillan, Diami Brown or Noah Gray, or keep Smart because Disley is out in PPR. I think I'd rather roll with Stone Smart.
Yep, I'd go Stone Smart. Yeah.
Just Win was
Yeah, that
asking
one.
the chat probably too, in case we were waiting.
Sure.
Luis Vasquez Diaz, nice name, said any changes, full PPR, quarterback Lamar, Connor, Sincere, Thielen, St. Brown, Kittle, Flex Bowers, Commanders, Reich, and then my bench is Metcalf, Hopkins, Swift Downs, and Aubrey. I think I would move Swift in for Sincere. I'll say that.
I would do that, and I would do Aubrey over. I would do Aubrey over Reichert.
Yeah.
Those would be the changes
It's
for me.
PPR, by the way. I don't know if that changed anything for you, but it's PPR.
No. I mean, I agree. I would still do Swift over Sincere, but no, the rest is fine.
Yeah, me too. Ali said Marv or Tyrone Tracy flex.
Softball question for me. I'm going Marvin Harrison Jr. without even thinking.
Yeah, I agree. Hijack.
Same thing.
We answered this one already. Luis Vasquez sent in another question and said Lamar, Mixon, Chuba, St. Brown, BTJ, Johnny, Flex, Sharps, Commanders, bench, JT, Monty, Mooney, Shakir, Judy, Hawk. Any changes? I could see moving Hawk in for Janu. He had a great game against them last
yeah,
time.
no. This is a Hawkinson week for sure. I would do that. And I would go with Shakir over BTJ personally.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that. Yeah, I think I would agree. East Edits said Hill, Addison, or Garrett Wilson. I'm gonna go, I think, with Hill. It's between him and Garrett Wilson.
I would go Hill as well.
Yeah, both guys have been really good. And then we answered that one. Over the Moon Films, pick 2, ETN. We haven't gotten an ETN question or Hopkins, and not a ton of Bucky questions, surprisingly.
Yeah, I thought we'd get a lot more.
Yeah, ETN, Hall, Pacheco, Hopkins, or Bucky. Also for a different league, do I drop Tank to pick up Adam Thielen? I would.
Yeah. Especially if it's PPR, for sure. If it is.
Yeah, I would.
2 there. Give me Pacheco and give me Brees Hall.
Me too. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it offline, but like Hall and Bucky are both risky with the injuries, but Hall at least has a better matchup with not as better of a backfield behind him. So that's why I prefer Hall over Bucky.
Yep.
Hector said pick 3 running backs, Mixon, A-Chain, Charbonnet, or Hall. I think Mixon, A-Chain, and Charbonnet is where I would go.
Charbonnet. Yep. Hall would be the odd man out for sure.
Yeah. CB said Brees, Judy, Marv, Neighbors, Pollard can only start 2 full PPR. I'm starting Marv, and I'm starting Judy.
Yep. I was going to say the same thing. Yep. Marv and Judy.
Be growing stuff. What's up? Haven't seen you in a little bit, man.
Be growing
Kamara,
what?
What'd you say?
I said be growing what? He's growing stuff. What kind of stuff? What's going on? What are we doing?
I don't know, man.
I think you do fucking know. Anyway.
All right. This is tough. I think Kamara is going to provide a really good floor. Kamara, funny enough, has not scored a touchdown in the last 7 weeks. I'll risk it with Charbonnet here.
So would I. I would, give it to me.
Makes me feel a little bit better. PPR, who do you flex? Justin Taylor said Terry, Stevenson, Marv, Rashad White. Haven't gotten a Terry question either. I'm going to start. Oh, it's only 1.
Yeah, that's a little more. Let me just.
A part of me says Terry. They're coming off of a bye. They know they have to win today. I'm sure they're working to get that connection strong. Not that they haven't already.
I would go Terry McLaurin here. Finally, somebody stumped me on Marvin Harrison, but yeah, I would go Terry McLaurin.
Yeah. I mean, Terry had 21 and 27 last 2 weeks. Now, granted, one of them was against Dallas where he had that big catch at the end.
Right.
But last time we saw him on the field, he had 2 red zone targets, 8 targets total, and 2 touchdowns for 73 yards. So yeah,
Way.
I'll go with Terry. Matt, coming back in, BTJ, we did answer this one.
Yep.
Jared
Twice
Fortin
then.
said Vikes or Denver. Give me Denver.
I trust whatever you say defensively.
Yeah, that's why I didn't give you a chance to answer.
Yeah, that's fair.
Isaiah Pacheco said Dowdle or Jonathan Taylor. I'll go with Dowdle today.
Yeah, I'm going Dowdle as well. He's been putting together some nice games. Taylor's got all the potential in the world, but don't really love the matchup. So
yeah. RL said PPR need 2 Hall, White, Ram, McCormick.
Ram, Stevenson, and Brees Hall.
Ooh, over White.
Well, Ram Stevenson, yes. Actually, Ram Stevenson and White.
Yeah, I'm back and forth on him and White. I mean, Rashad White, regardless if Bucky's healthy or not, has been playing well. Let me just take a look at Rashad White here for a second, really quick.
Oh, sure.
24, 8, 11, 19, 12, 15, 29. Yeah, I'd go with Hall. I'd stick with your gut there and go Hall. If you don't want the risk, I would go with White, but I'm probably starting Ramondre though for sure. And it could be a tough day. It could also be a tough day for honestly, I would actually go with White and Hall here. I know the Arizona's run defense got beat up a little bit last week, but their run defense was really good over the last 5 weeks before that. And I like Arizona's defense today, so I'll get weird and go Hall and White here. To be honest with you.
Okay. I am putting in the DFS link one last time into the chat for anybody who wants to join. We've got some people that joined over the course of the show. So if you want to play, $5 entry.
Go Pack Go said, hey guys, I have a huge decision to make. James Conner or Tyreek Hill in PPR. James Conner is projected 2.3 points higher with DeMarcado out. I don't care if DeMarcado's in or out, to be honest.
Yeah, really, it doesn't make a difference. But I get what
but I understand it. Yeah. I'm still gonna go with Tyreek Hill here. I think. I mean, actually, I don't know. I mean, the Patriots' run defense is pretty bad. And Tyreek Hill has been really hot though. And he gets a good matchup as well.
I'm going James Conner here. I like the matchup for James Conner. This is why some people, myself included, traded for James Conner at the fantasy football trade deadlines. He's got this matchup. I forget who he's got next week, but then the week after he's got the Carolina Panthers. So all good matchups coming up for James Conner. So
yeah. I'm cool with that. I think Conner has the better floor, but I think Hill has a higher upside.
That's actually, I'm sorry. So it's Patriots today, then Carolina, and then the Rams they end up with. That's last three games.
That is juicy. All right, let's see. I do want to check one thing.
Hurry up, damn it.
28
Feel free to like
likes.
the show, by the way, before we
that was what I was going to say. We're at 29 likes. We got 47 people on YouTube watching. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with us. Before we continue, it's been a great season, guys. We have really grown this season with the amount of subscribers, the amount of people that watch us. A lot of people, some shout outs to some people, Debbie, Greg, Matt Tate has been here a lot, KJ Frederick, Trone Force, Fredo, Jared Fortin, just to name a couple. We really appreciate it. We're on the cusp of creating a Discord, where we can kind of have a community where you guys can talk. Guys, people in here that are in our community can get to know each other a little bit too. If you guys do like the show and you like us, maybe you'll like each other and want to talk football and sports. So we're on the way to starting that soon. It's going to be an off-season project probably, but just wanted to say thank you so much for rocking with us, and we've got a lot coming up. So really appreciate it.
Yeah, and that too, by the way, off-season coming, but we don't stop. So we're going to keep going throughout the whole off-season, through the free agency, through the draft, to everything. We do not stop.
Yeah, we're gonna do a lot of dynasty stuff too. Me and
Yep.
Anthony talked about doing member only Discord like mock drafts and stuff too for startup for dynasty and as well as for redraft once we start getting around next year. So a lot of perks that we'll provide and yeah, I mean we're appreciative of all the support that we've gotten. We wouldn't be thinking about that if we haven't gotten the support from you guys like we have this year. So just looking to grow this thing and be able to support you guys a little bit better. So
A lot of
um,
fun stuff in the hopper.
yeah. KJ Frederick said Hertz or Caleb Williams, Thielen or Garrett Wilson, Ferguson or Otten. I'll start with the easy one here first. It's Otten for me. Moving on to Hertz or Caleb, it's Hertz for me. He's only scored under 18 points, I think, one time this year,
Check.
and Garrett Wilson for over Thielen.
I would just see. Okay, so then that's where your all right. So that's where your love ends. I would go Thielen there. Me
Okay.
personally, I just think Adams is gonna he'll do more than Wilson will. That's really what I'm going for here.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Parsonator said, great work, guys. Matt Schmidt said, absolutely do a Discord.
Done and done.
Greg McCown said, thanks for the help and entertainment.
Clearly, he means me when he says entertainment. Clearly,
yeah, I'm not as funny as Hoff. Yeah, we're trying to get to you guys. We're trying to catch up on the comments here. As we always say, if you feel free to send a super chat in, if you don't want to take the risk that we can't answer you, you could always hit us up on Twitter as well, or in the comments after we close out here. We're at the hour 5 mark. I think we'll go for another 5-10 minutes max.
Sure.
Is that good with you?
Yeah, I'm cool.
Okay. All right. C-Dub said, I have Gibbs, Mixon, Rico, Sharbs, Brees. Can you pick 3? Yeah, Gibbs, Mixon, and Rico for me.
Yeah. I would like to get Charbonnet in there, but over Rico, I can't do it. So, but I mean, Gibbs and Mixon are the slam dunks.
Yeah, Carolina has just been too good. They're the number 1 defense to fantasy running backs. It's just hard to sit Rico.
Yep.
Jedi Genetics said Thielen, Adams, Hill, and Jigba full PPR pick 2. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Adams, and I think I'll go with either Thielen or or I'm sorry, Adams and Hill.
Yeah,
sorry.
I would go Hill. I would go the ceiling with Hill. I do think there's a floor there though with Thielen that should be mentioned, but yeah.
Yeah.
But
For some reason, I read Hill as Garrett Wilson. We've gotten a lot of Adams plus Garrett Wilson questions. So, but Theo said, start 2, Neighbors, Flowers, BTJ.
Flowers for me. Neighbors is going to pop eventually, but we haven't really seen him do it on any kind of consistent basis.
It's 2 though. So I'd go Flowers, BTJ. I'm assuming your Flowers and Neighbors based on
I will go Neighbors in that case, yes. But if I'm picking 2,
well, we had this exact question, but also DK for a pick 2. And
but Flowers is far and away my favorite of these 3.
I hope so because I got to start them this week. So,
yeah, well, good luck to you.
Julian Green said, "Hey guys, Laporta or Hawkinson?
Hawkinson week for sure."
Zach Linton, what's up, man? Shout out to you too, Zach. Didn't mean to miss you there when we were shouting out some of our supporters, but been one of the ones from the beginning, and Albert too. If Albert is here, and if we missed you, it's nothing against you.
William Stevenson too. Yeah,
William Stevenson. Yep. There's a lot of people.
That funny goon.
What's up, boys? Reed, Stevenson, Mooney, Thielen, need 2. Should I risk starting Brees?
Over these
I think
options?
Jaden Reed. Well, I think Jaden Reed's just as big of a risk as Brees Hall at this rate.
That's fair.
So I'm starting Brees Hall in this group, and I'm starting either Thielen or Stevenson. And I think I'm starting Thielen and Brees.
Thielen and Stevenson would be the 2 I would play.
Okay, over Brees.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'd go Brees and Thielen here.
I get what you were saying about the Cardinals not being as bad against running backs, but I don't know. I have felt much like Kyler was going to have a good week. I feel pretty good about Raheem Stevenson, not to that same level, but enough that I'd pick him here over Hall.
Yeah, no, I get it. All right, let's see. Where are we? Parsonator, I'm gonna get to you real quick. I'll jump for you because you did say great work, guys, and you've been waiting for about 20 minutes. So we'll roll back.
Will get you everywhere.
Yeah. Parsonator said, help PPR start 2, White, Bucky, Tracy, McCormick, or Warren. Honestly, I'd go bold here, and I'd be fine starting White and Bucky.
That's what I was going to say too. Jeez, I thought I was going to throw you a curveball. Yeah,
No, yeah.
I would go White and Bucky, but let's just say hypothetically, let's just say you said that's too rich for my blood, then I would go White and Tracy.
Correct.
But
Yep.
But as long
I
as
would
you
say
want to go spicy with us, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I would do the same. Debo's backpack. A lot of 49ers fans here, huh?
Yeah, they're all
Maybe
miserable.
they're
What's up,
flooding in
kid?
from you.
Yeah, maybe. Misery loves company, boys.
Yeah. Sutton or McLaurin PPR. I saw somewhere New Orleans gives up 35 yards a game to the receivers on the left side. Well, that would be valid for McLaurin, who literally doesn't move over the field. He's literally a statue because they don't move him around. Cliff's notorious for that.
McLaurin would be the play here for me. I do like Sutton. It is close, but yeah, give me McLaurin.
I want to say that too, but I do envision a really big game for Sutton again, coming off of a bye with that connection against a really bad a game that should be competitive. I'm gonna go with Sutton here. I will go with Sutton.
I don't hate it.
The connection has just been stronger. I'll say that. I mean, their connection started off strong, but Sutton has been on fire, and they're coming off of a bye. Both teams are actually coming off a bye. Denver needs to win, and this game should be more competitive. And I think they have a better matchup, to be honest. So I think you're in a good spot, whichever one you take, though.
Just a quick shout out to the YouTube people. The likes have poured in over the last couple minutes, so thank you. We're up to 35 likes, so appreciate you guys.
If we can get more, it helps us out.
Get more.
So yeah, like it up. Looks like we might have somebody in the back end here. Looks like Matt might be joining us. I'll see if he's ready. Matt, if you are, feel free to pop in whenever if you want to jump in and take your time. Hector said Jalen Hurts or Jordan Love today. I'm gonna go with Jalen Hurts. I mean, Jordan Love's traveling to Seattle. I don't like teams that are traveling from East Coast to West Coast. And I also don't love that they're going into a hectic environment in Seattle, and that defense has been playing better. I think Jalen Hurts has something to prove today with all the talk with A.J. Brown. And Hurts has only scored under 18 fantasy points just once this year. So,
yeah, I would go Jalen Hurts. And I would imagine if you think Jalen Hurts has something to prove, then we would expect a good game out of A.J. Brown as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Joseph Herr said bench 3, full PPR, super flex, Waddle, Ladd, Brees, Mahomes, Bryce Young.
Bench 3. All right.
Yeah, it's a super flex. I mean, are we bold? Let's go to the quarterbacks first. Are we bold enough to start Young over Mahomes? I think I'm still starting Mahomes here.
I'm still starting Mahomes there. So Young would be out for me. Bench 3. Young, Brees are out.
Okay. I think I'm starting Waddle.
I think I'm starting Waddle and Ladd.
Over Mahomes?
Even though it's super flex. Well, because the weather too. And if it's full point per reception, I mean, that's Ladd McConkey's bread and butter. I get it, it's bold, but
yeah,
I'm not expecting a huge game out of Pat Mahomes.
Well, and Ladd has a great matchup. I think it's a matter if you're chasing, if you're like projected to win a solid lead, I think I'd rather roll with Mahomes and one of those receivers. But if you're looking for points and you're in a tight matchup, I think going for upside with Waddle and Ladd is fine.
Like, let's just say Ladd has 7 catches in PPR. That's 7 points right there, right? Give him the yards too. And if he happens to, and this is the bigger hypothetical of all of them, if he scores a touchdown, which that's not the most common one, that could put him ahead of Mahomes, and with Mahomes playing in dicey weather.
That is true.
That's how I kind of rationalize it. So I would go Ladd.
Matt, what's going on, man?
What up?
Morning, gents. How we doing?
Good.
Living the dream.
Doing all right. I'm gonna go to the bathroom really quick. So good thing Matt just showed up. I'll be right.
All right. I don't know where the hell we are on the questions, so I'm going to go from the bottom and start with chaos. Or here you go, Matt. You got that? Did you pull that up? Or
sure. Let me get where we're starting.
I pulled it up.
He pulled up that question.
Yeah.
So we'll answer this.
I won't be long. We're at Bengals. I just pulled.
Hurry up! Don't wet your pants. Bengals with a Z says Metcalf or Shakir for wide receiver, and Dowdle, Pollard, or other wide receiver for the flex. So I'll just jump in here quick. I'll say Shakir. I've been on Shakir all morning. And then Dowdle would be the other play for me. I wouldn't play Metcalf over Dowdle. I like the matchup too much for Dowdle going up against the Panthers. What says you?
I like Dowdle as well too, but I'm going to go Metcalf over Shakir. I think Shakir is going to be a little bit capped. I like DK. I think it's a must-win for the Seahawks, so I'm going to roll DK here. I think he's got the higher ceiling.
There was a lot of Shakir talk earlier, so you're coming in with a different vibe. I dig it.
Yeah.
I'll just go right to the bottom of the list here, and then Pete can figure it out when he gets back. Let's just choose chaos. Chris Lamb says Addison, Adams, or T. Higgins. Pick two. I have Darnold for the Vikings stack, and I'm projected to lose by 14 with Cup's 0. Yeah, well, misery loves company. Join in the festivities of Cooper Kupp and his 0. I would still go Adams. I would still go Adams and T. Higgins, even though you have that stack. I think I like T. Higgins still a little more over Addison. I mean, Addison pops. He has big games. He's had, 3 big games this year? But outside of that, it's been a handful of duds. So, Matt, are you in line with that thinking? Or
I think I'm in line with you there. You're spot on, and the Addison big games have been fantastic for your lineups. But other than that, he's not really helped you. So I'm with you on Adams and T.
Okay.
Or excuse me, I said Addison or Adams, but I meant Addison.
Adams,
you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I got you. You're good. It's all good. You just got to drink your coffee. That's all. Go ahead, Matt. Or Pete. Pete, you pick this one. Look at it. You're always just lying in the weeds. I don't know what's going on.
Jose Rodriguez said 1 wide receiver, 1 flex. Lamb, AJ, Dowdle, Connor, Evans. Yeah. This is
I hate
hard.
this question.
Yeah. I think AJ, I'll start off by just saying I think AJ for sure.
Yep.
Lamb and Evans are probably same-ish tier. I think both have risk. Lamb with the quarterback situation, but he's getting a lot of targets. Evans with the re-injury possibility, but they need to win, but he has a tougher matchup. And then the elephant in the room is Rico Dowdle and Connor, and Dowdle gets Carolina. Connor has a good matchup too against the Patriots, but I feel like I'm crazy to consider maybe even starting Dowdle as the second option here at the flex, but I don't know. What about you guys?
Matt, what do you got?
You want to go first?
No, okay, I'll go first.
I
would
go first.
Well, I'd go AJ Brown, and it's a tough call because, like Pete mentioned, CD's getting a lot of targets, but we do know the matchup is more favorable, at least in my opinion, to the running back in terms of the Dallas Cowboys this weekend. So I would go AJ Brown, and I would go with Dowdle. I hate leaving James Conner out. I love him this week, but yeah, that's who I'd go with.
Yeah, I think, Pete, when you started, you said for sure AJ Brown. I'm totally with you. Squeaky wheel gets the grease. I'm starting AJ Brown no matter what this week. And I think the second one does come down to Dowdle and Connor for me.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Connor. I really like the matchup. I think he's been really good this year. Dowdle taking on the Panthers, I just see a number of different ways that could just be anybody scoring because I still don't think the Panthers are good. They're playing better on offense, but they're still not a great team.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Would you guys start?
What did Hawk say? What did you said?
I went with AJ Brown and Dowdle.
Yeah.
I really wanted to say James Conner, but I'm going Dowdle. What the hell was I going to say to you? Would you guys start Keon Coleman or would you start Jonnu Smith this week? Literally asking for a friend.
I would start Jonnu.
Yeah, Jonnu.
I would start Jonnu.
Yeah.
Okay.
We haven't seen Keon Coleman in like 5 weeks. So to me,
yeah,
at least you've seen Jonnu.
I'm just thinking of the high over under.
Yeah.
I mean, Jonnu's got 4 straight games of over double-digit points.
Yeah, even if last week's came in overtime, he still did it. I'm not going to take that away from him, And Keon Coleman's done what has he done in the last 5 weeks? Nothing, because he hasn't played. Right. Like it's just too risky. This one's easy. I don't think we have to spend too much. Yeah, I think you could drop Isaiah Davis or Kendre Miller. Kendre's been getting more involved. And Isaiah Davis has no value if Breece Hall is healthy, I think.
Agreed.
Could he maybe score a weird touchdown? Isaiah Davis? Sure. But I don't think you start him with confidence ever if Breece Hall is in the lineup. I mean, so I could see Kendre Kamara hasn't scored a touchdown in 7 weeks. I could see Kendra having some sort of value, even if Kamara is healthy. But I get the question. Because Brees is more banged up. William Spain said PPR starting Kamara for my RB2. Should I start Pollard or Rashad White?
Starting Kamara for start Pollard or White. Ooh.
I don't normally say this, but I think I'm going to say Rashad White.
I knew you were going to say Rashad White.
I'm critical of him. Why'd you know? I'm a big Rashad White hater.
Because I feel my gut tells me Rashad White's going to have a solid game too. So
I'm going to go Pollard
too.
I'm going to go with Pollard though.
It's close.
Bengals defense it's a good matchup. I'll go with Pollard though. But I get it. Rashad White's a good floor play, but Pollard's been consistent all year, so it's tough. Honestly, odd man out, you could maybe make the argument that you're sitting Kamara in this situation.
Ooh,
I
true.
mean, I don't know if
Kamara
I would, but I'm saying
you could very much.
What do you say?
So Kamara hasn't found the end zone very much.
No, he hasn't scored in shit.
about.
I
party over there.
No, I was playing with my light thing and I can't turn it off. There we go.
Is that when you do your OnlyFans? Is that what that's for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
Topless while shotgunning beers. That's it.
So Matt, now that Matt's here, I don't mind sticking around. I do think I might take like a 5-minute break and then I can hop back on. I don't know, Hoff, if you're done. I got to put some bets in and I got to make sure my lineups are good. So if Matt's here, I can come back and roll.
Matt, can you hold down the fort by yourself for a little bit, or?
I will hold down the fort. Where do you leave off?
We're at William Spain here. So if you look at his polled comment here, so Jake Goodman is next. And yeah, like we said before, guys, I mean, feel free to send in a super chat if you want to jump the line. If you're in YouTube, you can see how backed up we are on questions. So we're doing our best here, but yeah, we are. Do you see it where it's pulled? If you scroll all the way up,
there we go. Yeah, I found
you got
it. Yeah, we are way behind. Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Well, that happens on Sundays, man. It's par for the course.
So we'll be back in a little bit.
Yep,
that's fine. I'll roll on. All right, let me get to Jake's question here. He says, I have 4 options for one flex spot. Thielen, I have Hubbard, Pacheco, Jameson Williams, or Marv. Man, that's tough. I really like Thielen this week over Pacheco and Jameson Williams. Marv is interesting. He's played okay. Kyler's kind of struggled in the last little bit, but I think for this one, I'm going to go Thielen. Thielen's involvement the last few weeks has been unbelievable. The amount of targets you're getting, 10 in week 13 against the Bucks, week 14 against the Eagles, he had 11. So I'm going to roll with Thielen and Bryce, who's been playing a little bit better in the last little bit. Let's jump to our next question from Alex over on Facebook. It says Stevenson or Waddle? Ramondre taking on the Cardinals. Not exactly someone I'm thrilled to be starting. Cardinals are a decent matchup, though, for him. So I think in this situation, I'm going to go Stevenson. I do know that Tua's played really, really well this week, and we kind of highlighted earlier in the week that, Tua's 4-game stretch that he's had the last little bit has been incredible. Looking at the season, he's really improved. 23 points, 28 points, 25 points, 23 points again. So Tua's played fantastic to get the Dolphins rolling. But how much of that is going to come to Waddle? I mean, we've seen the Dolphins. It's kind of become the A-chain, Jonnu Smith game. Yes, Waddle had 20 points the week before that, and then he had 11. But his involvement has been really inconsistent. So for me, I'm going to go with Stevenson in the matchup in this situation. Jared says, do you guys really think Mahomes out? Does Russ this week play? Playoffs lose? I'm done. Well, Jared, I don't think I was here when they answered your question. So I don't know how much I can advise you on that one. But yeah, I think Mahomes is an interesting case. The offense has played a lot better going forward, just trying to maintain points on the board rather than, having these big play drives. It's been a little bit more slow and steady for the Chiefs. So it's just a different Chiefs team this year. Starting the Jets or Commanders this week. For me, I'm going with the Commanders. Commanders are 4th in Pete's defensive rankings this week. I picked them up in the leagues that I need a defense, so I'm rolling with the Commanders. I'm also a Commanders fan, so hopefully today it works out and we can shut down the struggling Saints offense, but we will see. Jace on YouTube says, full point PPR, start 1, Adams, JSN, or Shakir. Well, apparently the boys here have been talking about Shakir all morning. We talked about Adams just a little bit ago, but I do want to, mention that you put JSN in this group. JSN has played really, really great football. He's taking on the Packers this week. Is that the best matchup? No, it's not. The Packers are pretty stingy against fantasy wide receivers, but I still think I'm going to roll with JSN. He's had the involvement. He's played really, really well, and if you're in the playoffs, he's probably got you in there. Due to his play. So I'm rolling with Jason, and I'm going to ride the hot hand there. Ryan on Facebook says, who should I grab in case McConkey can't go today? It can only be a wide receiver. Okay. Josh Palmer, Romeo Dobbs, Demario Douglas, or Rashad Bateman. Rest of my bench plays at 1, and I'm taking the risk on Ladd. What's a playoff game without risking it all? Hey, I get it. I mean, I'm in the same situation in another league. I'm rolling with Ladd. I can't remember who my backup is in case he doesn't play, but I'm doing the same thing. I'm risking it, so I can't blame you there. Who to pick up? Palmer is interesting if Ladd is out, just because you're going to have the vacated targets there. He had 9 targets last week, so I slightly lean Palmer in the event that Ladd does miss. Romeo Dobbs was in concussion protocol, hasn't played the last 2 weeks, not really sure what to expect from his involvement. It's not been the best season for him, so I would avoid playing Romeo Dobbs. I do like Pop Douglas, but again, I think the offense in New England is just a little bit capped. I mean, he's kind of a low floor play, and in that event, I think I'd just rather play Josh Palmer and hope that he gets the 9 targets and, can go for 70, 80 yards and maybe score a touchdown. All right, let's get to our next one here. It says, help, PPR, start 2, White, Bucky, Tracy, McCormick, or Warren. This is a tough question. I mean, what do we do about Bucky Irving? I've talked a lot about Bucky this season. He's one of my favorite players. We have the health concerns and, looking like he's going to be cleared to play. But what's the involvement going to be? I think Rachaad White, like Pete said just a few minutes ago, he's got a great floor. So I'm comfortable with starting Rachaad White in this situation. And then my second pick would be Tracy here. I think Tracy's a really good player and has the ability to kind of be consistent today for the Giants. I was facing the situation of starting Ladd or Tracy in a different league. And I'm rolling with Ladd, but if Ladd for some reason was to not play, I have the sleeper tool that will let me go back and set a substitute. So I'm using that feature with Tracy today. That was the choice I made. Tracy's been a great player. He's a rookie that we highlighted in the offseason as the mediator. So those are the 2 I go with. Ryan adds, my safe option is Adam Thielen over McConkey. Yeah, I mean, that's a good play right there too. I highlighted his involvement just a minute ago, so I would absolutely be comfortable with that. Nick says, at the Superflex, would you start Dowdle, Bucky, or Jameis Winston? Man, that's tough. If we're talking about a Superflex, Jameis is the one that can really provide the quarterback boost in that spot. So I'd have a hard time not playing Jameis. While I do think the magic for Winston might run out this week with a matchup against the Chiefs, he is the only guy that could probably really blow up. I'm interested to hear what Hoff has to say about this question, since he has spoke a lot about Dowdle this morning, and I do love the matchup. But I fear that Dowdle's best case game would be 25 points. The best case game for Jameis Winston could be 35 points. So in the playoffs, I'm chasing the most amount of points I can get unless I need a low floor play. TSB World says, need a little help. Start 3, Marvin Harrison Jr., Waddle, Shakir, Thielen, Devontae, And Thielen again, 0.5 PPR. Keep up the good work. Hey, thanks, man. We appreciate you being in here. So let's pick our 3. I'm going to go with Thielen, Devonta, and Marvin Harrison Jr. in this situation. I've talked about Thielen. I have a feeling that Devonta Smith is going to score today. I really like Devonta Smith. I've made several different plays with him in leagues and on some parlays I've made. So I'm going to go with Devonta Smith. I kind of like him to get in the end zone today. While I do think A.J. Brown is going to get heavy involvement, I think that the Steelers aren't naive to that situation either. And I think the Steelers are going to do what they can to kind of, hyper fixate a little bit on A.J. Brown as well. So let's get to our next one here. It says, what's the more valuable position in fantasy? A kicker or a defense? Man, this is bad timing, Matt. Our kicker and defense experts aren't on they just got off for a little bit of break. But I'll give you my opinion. I think it's defense. I think there's a lot of work that goes into defense. Kickers, in the NFL, we kind of score points. So, you should get at least a few each week. Teams are a lot more conservative in the NFL, but defenses are a lot harder to predict. While they say defense travels, you still have to be able to analyze the matchups, look at the points, see how an offense is playing. Do we have anything that's going to be exploited? Are they bad on the secondary, bad up front against the run? There's a lot to take in there with defenses, but either way, I respect both Hoff and Pete for doing great content on those. Those guys have helped carry me to my redraft playoffs because I've been using their kicker and defense plays every single week. Those are my go-to guys. So absolutely take what they show and follow it. They've proven their hard work this season. Joseph says, bench 3, full PPR, super flex, Waddle, Ladd, Brees, Mahomes. Oh, I think they answered this question. I think I came in on this one. So we will continue on here. Let's see here. Can only start 1, full PPR, Dowdle, Thielen, Garrett, Terry. I'm going to go with – this is tough because Dowdle's got the matchup. Thielen has the involvement. I do like Scary Terry coming off the bye. Washington's in a must-win, so I expect them to really put up some points and try and really get this offense rolling and quick. And the way that we've seen Washington be most successful is when they get Terry involved at the very start. But that being said, I do like Garrett Wilson today. He's a player that a lot of people feel disappointed with, but he's still wide receiver 7. I mean, he's scoring a bunch of points because his involvement is insane. Like, if you go look at his targets, he's got 128 on the year, and we still have 4 games to go. That's unbelievable. And, if he could just get in the end zone, it's going to change his days because with 10 targets where he's getting at least 5 to 7 catches every single week with the chance of getting 100 yards, he could really score a bunch of points for your fantasy team. So I like Garrett Wilson, and that's who I would pick. All right, we get Hawkinson, Coleman, or Odunze. Coleman is definitely out for me. Like Pete said, he hasn't really played, so I want to see it from him. Excuse me. Before I'm going to throw him into my lineup unless I have to. We've got Odunze. I like Rome. I've been watching a lot of film of Rome, and I think he really looks good on tape. Last week he had the 2 touchdowns, so that was really nice to see. But that being said, his involvement has been limited. And, if the touchdowns don't show up, you're kind of looking at a bad day. I like Hawkinson in this situation, especially if this is any type of tight end premium league. I would be comfortable starting with Hawk. I think TJ is somebody that's getting better each week. He only had 10 points, but I just feel like on the tape he's looking better. The snap share has been in the 60%. If he can keep that up and get that going, then I really expect good things to go for the Vikings, who taking on the Bears today, it's a must win for them in this division. They need that win to kind of advance towards getting home field advantage, possibly maybe a bye. We'll see what happens. I don't think so with the Lions, but I do want to check one thing here. The Bears are a pretty good matchup for tight ends, so I'd be comfortable starting Hawkinson in this situation. All right, let's get to our next one, guys. Would you play Juwan Johnson, Cade Otton, or Noah Gray in PPR? I have Cade, but hate the matchup. I'm down due to Cup giving a goose. Yeah, Cup definitely hurt a lot of people, so I feel you there, man. It's a tough situation to be in. Would you play Juwan Johnson, Cade Otton, or Noah Gray? I think I'm going to go with Cade Otton. Cade Otton has maintained his involvement. Little bit of issues with Mike Evans. We'll see what happens there. But I'm not sure I really trust the Saints offense this week, so I'm going to roll with Cade Otton. SWL says Dowdle or Pacheco. Dowdle for me. The matchup is too great. Pacheco's involvement has still been split with Hunt in the works. So give me Dowdle with the main bulk of the workload. Good matchup. I expect good things from him today. All right. RL says PPR need 2. We've got Hall, who was just officially activated, by the way. So take that for what it's worth. If he's activated, I feel like they're going to use him. Otherwise, they would just shut him down. Ram, White, McCormick, and McLaughlin. Man, this is tough. I think in this situation, I'm going to roll with White and Hall. I do like McCormick. I mean, he's played well. He's earned that role. But, at the end of the day, you're betting on the Raiders. And the Raiders' offense is still a little bit capped. While they are taking on the Falcons are in a must-win, and they've kind of struggled the last little bit. So I'm interested to see if the Falcons can bounce back because whether we like it or not, they're still in for the division, and a lot has happened. So I'm going to go with Hall and White in this situation. All right, Jose says, rank my team. All right, let's rank his team, guys. He says QBs are Sam Darnold, and then running back we have Jacobs, Brian Robinson. Wide receiver 1 is CeeDee Lamb. Wide receiver 2 is Shakir. Tight end is David Njoku. His flexes are DJ Moore, Jawan Jennings, and Sanders with the Vikings defense. Yeah, man, I like your team. Obviously, the Jawan Jennings play, if you had to play him this week or if you got the bye, then that's good news. That was kind of tough. I really like your roster. He adds that the bench is Bo Nix, Bucky Irving, McCormick, Ladd, and Thielen. If I need to do a roster change, let me know. Thanks for the advice. Yeah, man. I'm not sure there's really anything to change. I mean, obviously, hindsight, you'd love to not have Jennings in there, but, we can't change the past. We can only deal with what we got, and we're trying to win. So I think the one player that is kind of the question mark here is probably Shakir. Does Shakir feel capped? Do you need to try and swing for the fences since, you lost some points there with Jawan Jennings? And I kind of feel that way. I wouldn't be afraid of playing Ladd or Thielen to try and, get a better situation for a guy that could score more points. Thielen has been really involved, and Ladd is essential to this offense. And if he plays, that's someone I'm interested in. But I think we did just get another super chat, so let me jump to Superman here. Hey, thanks for the super chat, Superman. Appreciate that. It says Colin Sutton, DK, Tyreek, Pollard, and Swift. 1 wide receiver, 1 flex. Yeah, this is a long list to choose from here. I really like Nico. Sutton is interesting coming off the bye with the Broncos really needing to get another win. Sutton's involvement has been great. DK, that's tough, man. I'm really torn here. I think for sure I'm going to start Nico. Nico has proven that he deserves to be in that category of where we're just going to play him. I mean, he's that good. It's any moment where he can just break a play and just turn it into something. Even a down week for him, 3 weeks ago against Dallas, he still had 10 points. His involvement's been fantastic. 11 targets in week 13. They're coming off a bye, so give me Collins for sure. Then my extra, man, this is tough. I think I'm going to go with Sutton in the flex, but I would love to hear what Pete has to say on this too, since he's been talking about the Broncos. So we'll come back to that one when he's back. Let me get back to my spot here. Appreciate the super chat, Superman. Let's see. Sorry, Sorry, guys. Trying to find my spot here. All right. Let's get to our next one. Hey, Pete, what's going on, my friend? We got a super chat here. I'm curious what your thoughts are with Sutton this week while I get our spot back.
I like Sutton. In that question, I think Nico and Tyreek for me. I do like Sutton a lot this week, though. So I don't think it's a bad play if you decide to go Sutton, but I like Tyreek a lot this week, too.
Yeah. Next one we have is Ertz or Laporta. That's tough. It's sad that Laporta has not had the season that we really wanted him to have this year. And on top of that, Ertz has played really well the last little bit, kind of dominating some touchdowns in the last little bit. Scored 3 straight weeks, so I feel like it might be a little bit touchdown dependent, but the involvement is still there. You just never know with the Lions offense. I think I'm going to go with Zach Ertz. What about you, Pete?
I'll go with Laporta just because higher scoring game. I don't know how much they're going to have to rely on Ertz if the Commanders run away with this one. I know Hoff before made a point that was like, the player could be the reason they run away from it. I don't think Zach Ertz is going to be the reason that the Commanders run away with this game. So I'd go with Laporta, but I can understand, going both ways here. But I think Laporta would be my selection. Did you get Davis on Andrade's super chat too? This one?
No, I did not. I must have missed that one.
It's all good. I just want to make sure we didn't grab him. He hasn't been waiting too long, so it's all good.
It says start 3: Marvin Harrison Jr., Judy Pollard, Brian Robinson Jr., or Hopkins. Oh man, are you trusting Judy, Pete?
I'm back and forth. I have a situation where I could start London, Judy, or Shakir, and right now I have Judy starting with Tillman and Njoku out. But the weather's not great. But Jameis has thrown like 40 times, like 4 out of the last 5 weeks, I think, or something like that.
Yep.
So I like Brian Robinson a lot this week. I love Brian Robinson this week.
Me too. I'm starting him everywhere I can. I've got him in some DFS plays, and some parlays. So I like Brian Robinson a lot.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I'm comfortable with Marv, Robinson, and Judy here. I could be swayed on Pollard for Judy, but I'll roll the dice and risk it with Judy. I mean, Vegas has Pollard's yards at 63.5 or 60 at plus money. So they don't think his rushing wise he's going to go much over that. So yeah, I'm okay with Judy, B. Robin, and Marv here.
Yeah, I think I'd take the Pollard sub there over Judy. I'm just not really going to trust Judy. It feels a little bit fluky to me the last little bit, but he's certainly playing well. I can't deny that. The weather scares me, and the matchup kind of scares me a little bit too, to be honest.
Yeah. Breece Hall, by the way, rushing yards line set at 42.5. Understandable, like because of the injury, but I mean, to me, 42.5 is one or two big runs, so I'm going to take that.
Yeah, you're talking about one good run for a first down, and after that, it's just fall forward every single time you get the carry.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously the risk of, or is he limited, right? That's really what it comes down to. I think if he plays enough snaps and gets like 10, 12 touches, like I think that line's pretty easy to clear.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off.
No, you're fine. We did just get another super chat just a moment ago from Cody. Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. I assume the question is back underneath. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. Yeah, it's right here. He said Khalil, Jacoby, Calvin Ridley for PPR, and Ramondre Stevenson or Breece Hall this week. I would go with Shakir here. I could maybe be swayed on Ridley over Shakir. Matchup's really good. I don't want to start Myers. I don't trust that quarterback situation. You?
Exact same.
Yeah. And then I guess between Ramondre and Breece Hall, I'm gonna roll the dice and start Breece Hall. I know it's risky, but Arizona's run defense is good. I told Hoff that. I mean, it's been good the last 5-6 weeks. They did get banged up by Charbonnet last week, but outside of that, they've had a good run defense for the second half of this year. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with Bruce Hall here.
I'm with you too. I think Ramondre is a good player. He's going to have the involvement, but Brees is the one guy that I feel like it just takes one play, one play. And the Jets have had a lot of reason for that play to not happen. And I get the injury; it's concerning, but I'm swinging for the fences in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's pretty much what my thoughts too. Quasim said, "Bro, answer my question." Quasim, you sent in your question like spamming it like 20 times, and there's people waiting. So if we get to you, we get to you, but you're just gonna have to wait a little bit, man. Unless you send in a super chat, but there are people waiting, and just please try not to spam the chat. Let me see. I don't know where you left off. Sorry, I'm scrolling back up here.
I think we're right here, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's where we were. Yep. Yeah, we actually answered this, me and Hoff. We both said if you're benching 3 and it's a super flex, but I'm still going Waddle and Lad, I could be swayed on starting Mahomes over Lad here. But I think it's between Waddle, Lad, and Mahomes. I think you have to start Waddle this week. I think I would start Mahomes over Lad though.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. I'll pull the chats here and kick it over to you. Hector said kicker Sanders or Reichert. Well, Hoff's not here, but I know he likes Sanders over Reichert this week. I don't have any
Sanders
lean.
is we trust.
Yeah. SWL Bo said choose 3: Lamb, Metcalf, Scary Terry, or Drake, London. I like Terry. I like London. I like Lamb. Metcalf, I just don't really know what to expect at this point in time. London's getting a lot of targets. I know I've talked about how I'm not starting him possibly over Judy. I'll probably tinker with that back and forth until game time, but the targets are there for Lamb and for London, and Terry's been good. So
yeah, I'm with the same 3. I think the question comes down to Metcalf or London, and I lean London.
Yeah, me too. Lonely Stoner said first seed PPR hurting at running back. 2, start Vidal, Spears, McLaughlin, Sean Tucker, if no Bucky, Hunt, or Madison. I think Bucky's playing. I think if I'm picking out of this group, I'm going with McLaughlin only because he saw the highest snap total of the season last week. He looked like the best running back for Denver. They're coming off of a bye. They need to get the run game going. You would think in the bye week, maybe they started looking at things because that rushing offense has been bad. So I'll go with McLaughlin, who I think has the most pop here and probably gets the most opportunities. I could maybe be swayed on Kareem Hunt, but I think Pacheco is going to continue to eat into that role. So
I think so too. I mean, that's the KC backfield is really tough to really make any decision on. I lean McLaughlin as well. Sean Tucker, that's a no-go for me no matter what. Madison, I'm not interested in at all.
Yeah. And then Cowboys or Chargers defense. I'll go with Cowboys just because their special teams unit, Turpin, possibly scores a touchdown. He's been doing a lot of that this year. And it's not great matchups for both teams. I think Dallas gets the better matchup, so I would go with Cowboys.
I will default to what Pete says. He is my defense guy, so he answers all defense questions for me.
Yeah, and then Lutz or Lutz, Bucker, or Elliott. I like Lutz. I think Hoff likes Lutz as well.
Yep.
Joshua M sent in a super chat, and I'm trying to see if I can find your question. If you had sent one, or maybe you're just throwing something in there for us. Let me take a look here. Give me 1 second.
He just sent it.
I see it.
got it.
Yeah, I see it. He been waiting for about 20 minutes, so appreciate the patience, man. Said Brenton Strange, Jawan Johnson, Isaiah Likely, Grant Calcaterra, Stone Smart, full PPR, and just looking for the best floor. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I mean, I'm going with Stone Smart. I don't think any of these guys have a good floor. Isaiah Likely worries me, just like Mark Andrews worries me. If that game gets out of hand, they don't need to use them possibly. Brenton Strange, yeah, there's no Evan Ingram. I'm gonna go with Stone Smart though in a competitive game, and we saw a nice week from him last week. So
Yeah, if Coach was on here, he'd be saying Grant Calcaterra. That's a guy he really likes. He expects him to absorb some, but I'm not really feeling that this week. I'm with you on Smart. I think Disley being out, there's opportunity there. If Ladd should not play, even more of an opportunity. I really like Stone Smart. I think he's a sneaky play. He's on a lot of waiver wires in some dynasty leagues, so I've put in a ton of claims for him. He's somebody I'd go pick up. Calcaterra, AJ Brown, I expect to get involved. DJ or Devonta Smith, I spoke earlier about how I like him this week, so I'm avoiding that.
Okay. And then we have another super chat from K Quicks. Said Charbonnet JT, Knicks over Murray, Thielen over DK. I'll go with the easier one for me. I'm taking Thielen over DK. I'll ride with what I've been saying. I think that connection's there. I like Thielen this week a lot. So I hate to say it.
I like Thielen too. I mean, it's gross to bet on I don't even know how old he is, 34. But, he's involved, and you can't beat that. Bryce is playing a lot better. I like Thielen too. Sharp over JT. Man.
It's tough.
Are you with Sharp there too? Bless you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think JT could be in for a good week against Denver. Same thing coming off a bye week. They need to win. But I do like Charbonnet's matchup a lot this week against the Packers. Packers have been pretty favorable to running backs. So, yeah, I would go with Charbonnet for upside. I think if you're looking for the safer floor, it's probably JT. And then from the quarterbacks, I'm going with Kyler. Same thing. I like Knicks this week, but I'm feeling a Kyler game this week.
Yeah, Kyler's kind of burned me the last little bit. I've made a bunch of plays with him and some DFS, and Kyler has not been the guy I thought he might be. But I'm gonna roll with him. I'm feeling a comeback too.
And are you going Sharps over JT as well, or?
I think I'm JT over Sharp, but I think both are gonna have decent weeks. But like you said, I think JT could really have a good game. I get you liking the matchup for Char, but I think it's a coin toss.
Yeah, I get it. K Quicks also sent another super chat. Thank you so much. Said Smart or Komet, and does this change if Ladd goes in PPR? I don't. My feelings on Stone Smart doesn't change if Ladd goes. I mean, if anything, Ladd being in probably helps move the offense. So I know sometimes people look at that as deterrence, but to me, you look at it, maybe they get more offensive snaps because they've got one of their best offensive player on the field. Cole Kmet, no, hasn't been good. Last time they played against Minnesota, he had 13 points, 7 catches for 64. But outside of that, I mean, he's had 3 weeks over 10 PPR points, and two of them were spike weeks at 24 and 25. And then 1 week of 13. He's pretty much boom or bust at this point. And he's not really giving us a really good floor. So give me Stone Smart at this point.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, you saw what could happen with Cole Kmet last week with 92% of the snaps. Nothing. 0 points. No targets. No catch. So I'm with you. Give me Stone Smart. I'll take the shot.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Michael said, apologize, my bad. No, I wasn't talking to you, Michael, when I said about spamming the chat. So, well, you did send in your question a few times, but it's all good. I'll pull your question anyway, since you apologized, and I'll give you a little line jump here. He said, I have Mooney and Kamara starting. Should I? And for the flex, who should I go for? Adunze, Devonta, McCormick, or Tracy for the flex, non PPR, but also advice if I should sit my starters. Mooney and Devonta are close for me.
Yeah.
Right.
I think I was going to say it came down to Mooney, Devontae, and Tracy for me. Like those are the three that I'm really breaking down in my head.
Yeah. It's non PPR. I'm not confidently putting
Oh,
Odunze in my lineup. I mean,
yeah, I'm not either.
I'm not there
Not
yet.
at all.
Davis, don't worry. We grabbed your super chat, man. And he said thank you. Good. Yeah, I mean, I think Kamara's a lock. I don't think he's gonna have an amazing game, but I think he's still locked in over these guys. And he needs a flex, so technically we can pick two for him. I think Mooney is fine, and I think Devonta's fine. Actually, I don't even think this is that hard. You could maybe sway me on Tracy over Devonta or Mooney, but to me, I don't love Tracy today. So I'm fine with Mooney, Kamara, and Devonta Smith here.
Yeah, I think I'd be comfortable with that too. Knowing it's non PPR, that's fine.
Yeah. Kevin with the super chat. Let me see if I can find your question. Cheesy said, "Do you want to hear dad jokes?" Sure, send them in. Let's see if I can find Kevin's question. Give me 1 second, Kevin.
I'm looking.
Why don't you, Kevin, resend in your question? Let me grab the next super chat. Just resend in your question. I'll get to K Quicks. K Quicks said, "I have Sutton. Does that change Murray over Knicks in PPR?" No. I mean, look, I understand possibly getting a stack. If you're chasing points, if you're like, hey, I'm down points from Thursday night, I started Cooper Cup or I started I'm fine starting Knicks with Sutton for the stack because, you can accumulate points quicker that way, right? Because you have both guys. But if you're not in a hole, I'm starting Murray over Knicks in this situation. Does that change your mind at all, or?
No, I'm not really big into fantasy stacks, not unless it's like Burrow and Chase. That's when it really matters. Not to say that Knicks and Sutton can't do that. It's just not their build. So I'm not going to chase those points. I'm fine with Murray.
Yeah. Michael said, "Thanks, boys. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming in." Kevin, after sending in his super chat, he followed up with his question and said, "Full PPR, 2 flex spots, Adams, Moore, and JT." I like Adams a lot today. I do. So I'm definitely starting Adams. It's really between Moore and JT. Moore had a really good game against Minnesota last time they played. I'm gonna go with Moore here in this spot.
Yeah, I've got 2 fantasy playoffs where DJ Moore is really, really important for me. So I'm with you there.
Yeah. William Stevenson said, "What's up? On the train to Philly. Go Birds." Yeah, man. Stay warm. It's cold out there, man. I'm gonna pull Matt Schmidt because he's been in the chat for a while, sending in some messages and some questions, and said that he appreciated us. So I'll do you a solid here. He said, "How are we feeling about starting Kincaid over Pitts in my lineup full PPR?" Yeah, I'm good starting Kincaid. It's a shame. Kyle Pitts, there was some coach speak earlier this week. I think I was reading something that said that, the head coach pretty much came out and said, that Pitts is not a volume player. He's a big play player. They don't funnel targets to him. He's not a safety blanket. To me, I don't want to hear that at all, especially as a tight end. So yeah, I'm starting Kincaid here in a game that looks like it'll be a very one of the higher scoring games in the week.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's sad that Kincaid has been disappointing, and it's still way better than it feels to play Pitts.
Yeah. Cheesy Bowman said the stuttering is real. Sorry, man. Sorry that I stuttered a little bit, buddy. Where are we at?
Probably me.
It's all good. If I would question it more if with the amount of questions and the amount of different players you get, I would question it more if you didn't stutter or stop and think, because I mean, there's a lot of questions, and at least we're thinking the answers rather than just blurting it out. Now, sometimes we blur them out quick because we've answered a lot of the same questions. We've been going for an hour 58 right now, so But anyway, K Quicks with another super chat. I don't know, K Quicks, that you might be a newer viewer here, but I appreciate the donations, man. Said, why is it so hard to start Thielen over DK? Yeah, I mean, DK is an athletic freak, athletic specimen. He's got the name value. I mean, he's everything you want in a prototypical wide receiver from a skill set standpoint. Yeah, that's why it's hard to sit DK. But I don't know, Matt. Do you have thoughts? I want to pull something on DK really quick. So I don't know
Sure.
if you want to give your thoughts here.
Yeah, I mean, why is it hard? Because Thielen's 34. I mean,
Mm.
he's old, but you can't deny his involvement and how he's played, especially the last 2 weeks. Bryce is playing a lot better. I think we just have to be accepting of what he is, and I'm going to roll with Thielen over DK. Like Pete said, yes, DK is the younger, more athletic guy, but
Yeah.
Thielen is the one getting all the volume. And 11 targets, he had 9 catches for 102 yards. That's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, here's the problem with DK too. I love DK Metcalf. I mean, outside of week 1, he was on a tear for 3 weeks straight this year. Week 2 to week 4, he had 129 yards, 104, 104. And he had 26, 20, and 15 fantasy points. He scored 2 touchdowns in that stretch. Outside of that, I mean, he scored 1 touchdown since week 4. He scored 1 touchdown in week 7. So he's not getting into the end zone. And then volume receptions wise, he's averaging around 4 catches a game. Last 3 weeks, he's had 4 catches in every single game. And prior to that, he had 7, then 4, 3, and 4. So he's gone over 4 receptions just one time since week 4. So you're not getting a ton of receptions volume wise. You're pretty much banking on him getting 4 catches for 100 yards or 70 yards and giving you like a 10-point performance, 10 to 15. Like, that's really where we're at with him because he's not scoring touchdowns. I love DK Metcalf. Could he score touchdowns? Absolutely. But right now, yeah, I mean, I like the matchup against Dallas. No Trayvon Diggs. So yeah, that's a little bit as to why. I mean, I'm upset because I love DK. I was expecting a big year from him, but I got to bend the knee a little bit. I was wrong. I liked him over JSN this year, and JSN was the much better value at this point. So anyway, Trippy said, "Good morning, Elijah Moore or Roma Dunze full PPR, no Njoku." Yeah, this got closer. No Njoku, no Tillman, and Jameis Winston's slinging the ball around. So I mean, I
Rome
hate
feels
saying
like
it,
you're
but
chasing the touchdowns.
yeah. I don't want to just give a straight answer really quick, so I want to take a look. I just want to see. I'm pretty sure Winston, like I had mentioned before, Jameis Winston, I think from a passing attempt standpoint, has gone over like 40. He's had 41, 58, 27, 46, 46. So he's had one game of under 41 passing attempts in the last 5 weeks. And Nick Chubb, if he was running the football better, I'd be a little bit less confident, but he's not. The running game is not working for them. And these are not like shootouts outside of Denver. Like, the Browns weren't in shootouts. I mean, he's just throwing the ball a lot. So yeah, I'm going with Elijah Moore in this situation.
Yep, me too. You nailed it right there. I mean, Jameis Winston throwing the ball over 40 times every single game except for one. Some of the passing targets are out. You've got Chubb, who's not played well at all. You're spot on, man. Elijah Moore for me.
Yeah. Thanks for dropping in, Trippy. Vic with a $5 super said non-PPR, one flex, Hall, Evans, McLaurin, BTJ. I had started Cup and Jennings. Yeah,
This is
so
tough.
yeah, I think I'm going McLaurin here. I mean, you're chasing points. You started Cup and Jennings. I think McLaurin has high upside, and a good floor as well. It's between him and Evans for me. It's non-PPR as well, and McLaurin has been scoring touchdowns. So is Evans. So I think I go with McLaurin, but if I was going between two, it'd be him and Evans.
Yeah, the last part you said there is the reason why I'll go with Terry. Terry's been scoring the touchdowns. Hall is interesting for me just to see if he could get that involvement both in the passing game and adding the groundwork since it's non PPR. Can he just stack up some yards and, you hope he scores a rushing touchdown? That's where it comes down to me. But if I've started Cup and Jennings where I'm behind the 8 ball already and I know I need to get some points on the board, I'm going to go with the guy who's been scoring 20 plus points multiple times this year. Give me McLaurin.
Yeah. We're at the 2-hour mark here. I'm going to pull one more question. If you have other questions and we couldn't answer it, send it into the YouTube comment section once this video closes out. If you've been waiting, sorry, we just can't get to everybody today. I do want to say we are going to open up a membership here for our YouTube channel. It'll be pretty much instead of super chats, if you become a member, we don't know, it'll be maybe somewhere around like $5 a month. You become a member, your questions become priorities. So instead of a super chat being a priority, if you're a member, you'll have priority, and there'll be other perks to that as well. Different type of roster building for Dynasty. We have more things coming with the memberships that we'll expand on. But so if you've been waiting, sorry, we've been here for 2 hours and we can't get to everybody today. If you've sent in a super chat, we appreciate that. I'm going to get to William Stevenson, who has been a loyal, follower here. And I do want to grab his question. He said, PPR, start 2, Chuba Hubbard, Tracy, Sincere, Shakir, Downs, Flowers. I'm leaning Chuba and Flowers. Started Cup, need that upside. Yeah, I think Chuba is the obvious start here. And then you can kind of go back and forth with a couple of the other guys. But I think you got to start Chuba. And it'd really be between Shakir and Flowers for me. Flowers has blowout potential. Shakir and has a good matchup in a game that's going to be high scoring. So I don't know. What do you think?
I'm not going to make any changes. I'm with him. I'm going Chuba and Flowers. Those are the two that I'm going to play. I think Flowers is the involvement. He has the big playability. If he can get in the end zone, hopefully he can make up some of the points you lost with Cup taking the big goose egg on Thursday night.
Now, last one from him. He said 2 quarterback, Caleb or Geno this week.
Ooh. I like Caleb. I think Caleb's playing really good football. He's played a lot better. I'm going to roll with Caleb Williams this week. The Vikings back end is not something to really fear in my eyes.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you there. Last time they played Minnesota, he had 26.9 fantasy points, 26, 26, 14 in the last 3 weeks, and he had a 16 point game in week 11. So he's scored over 16 points in 3 of his last 4, and Minnesota 3 weeks ago, he scored 26.9 points. So I think I'm going with Caleb. I do worry about this Packers defense. I like both defenses today for fantasy purposes. I understand Minnesota does give up big plays, but I think they get some sacks on Caleb. But I do worry about Geno today a little bit with that Packers defense that's playing really well. So that's going to do it for us, guys. Like we said, we appreciate everybody. It's been a great season so far. Hopefully you stick with us, going on to the next rounds. We have some content that we put out. My defensive streamers went up yesterday for next week. Make sure you get those stashes in, possibly for next week's games, get ahead of it, of your league mates. And if you have buys, obviously, of course, Hoff's got his videos coming out. Mediators will be back on Wednesday night. We will be back on Monday, so tomorrow, and a lot more stuff coming down the pipe. So hang with us, guys. But we appreciate it. And keep in mind again, before we close out here, if you are done with redraft but you are into Dynasty, we are opening a Discord for our members as well, with the YouTube channel in conjunction. So even if you get knocked out in redraft, stick around for that information the next week and a half. Pop in and just see what's going on. We're going to be dropping that at some point. That way, you can stick with us for more of that information if you're, a continued all season long player, all year long player like Dynasty. But appreciate you guys so much. It's been a great year. Let's keep it rolling. Good luck in your matchups. And we will see you guys tomorrow.